and Toga, SRS runway, auto thrust is blue. 80 knots, thrust set. 5500. 31. Rotate.
Seconds. But why? What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Good to see everybody here today. Happy to be back on stream. I apologize being gone for let's see, a little over a week. I think we did the long haul on Tuesday last week, and then I just fell off the earth, man. I got sick. Little girls got sick. I got sick, passed it out. My voice is a little bit hoarse. Hopefully you'll be able to bear with me today. I'm feeling much better, though. So other than my voice being just a little bit off, I do feel much better. I'm feeling good, and I'm happy to be back. I've been itching to get on this update, guys. I was actually watching some Flight Deck to Sim, doing a little bit of his 737 testing, listening to a couple things he had to say about the winds. Here's the deal. There's pretty much no weather in the United States right now, which is good. It's a good thing. It's a beautiful morning. We're going to take off. We're going to do a shorter flight. We're going to go Phoenix to Santa Barbara. Absolutely stunning scenery over there. Have a little Payware airport down there as well. We're going to fly into Santa Barbara. We're just going to feel the airplane out. I want to see if I can feel any changes right off the bat in pretty much calm conditions. From there, after we land, we're going to ramp up the winds. Santa Ana winds can be absolutely brutal in the spring and the fall time of the year down there on the coast of California. So we're going to ramp up the winds. We're going to do some severe crosswind testing. We're going to see how the airplane handles. And, of course, we got to listen to the new sounds. Everybody's jacked about the sounds, so I want to listen to the new sounds. I haven't heard any startup sounds myself. I did basically I started on the runway, made sure everything was bound up correctly, and that was it. So I haven't really experienced the sounds, but I hope they're going to live up to the hype, because you guys seem to really be hyping them up. So let's get this show on the road. Lauren, good to see you. Scott, Jake is in the house. Mauricio Diaz, good to see you. Alex, 5150, what is up, my friend? Peyton Carrera, good to see you, my friend. Gibbs in the house. Aaron Hastings, What is going on, man? Good to see you. Chaos, Alpha Mike, Mr. Fubar, Christy Ionscu is here as well. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Real Fight Pilot, absolutely, man. RC Flyer, Matt Warren, Miggs, Karan Anderson. Thank you so much for the continued support, guys. Miggs, thank you for the 2-month membership support, and Mr. Rotofib, 28-month membership celebration. Perfect timing, guys. What is up? Let's get this show on the road, shall we? Let me, so I had GSX set up, and they came and catered my aircraft. It was great, but you guys didn't get to see any of it. So we'll just have to pretend that you guys didn't see it. We'll get the airplane fired up. We'll do the boarding process with GSX as well, so we can kind of simulate that and get this show on the road. Mr. Callie Simmer, before we power up the airplane. Oh my goodness, Mr. Callie Simmer coming in already. $20 super chat. Let me make sure my alert box is on. I think I turned it off for. No, it should be on. Should be coming through here. But $20 super chat. Happy belated birthday, V1. Have a beer or two on me. There's the alert. Mr. Callie Simmer, thank you so much for that $20. Yes, my birthday was on Thursday. I was going to do a stream for y'all, but I just was not feeling good at all. So I had to miss that. But thank you for the birthday wishes. I saw you guys in the Discord also wishing me happy birthday. Thank you, Callie Simmer. I really, really appreciate that, Dono. I'm going to take your advice. Cowboys game tonight. I'm going to need a couple beers. I'm probably going to need about 6 or 12 of them, depending on how they play tonight. So thank you so much for that support, my friend. Really, really appreciate you. All right. Firing up the airplane. Let's do this. I want to make sure the sounds are up on here as well, so we can just... We're gonna turn it all the way up. All right, let's start from the top just like we always do. I have the time off in the sim, 1 hour behind the live time, but we are in live weather as well. Let's get the airplane fired up here. Let's do this. EKVG is, yeah, I saw that, Gib. I saw Flight Deck to Sim. He's flying in some crazy weather. Here's the thing. I was going to fly Cancun to Kingston, Jamaica, go right over the top of the hurricane, but both the weather in Cancun and the weather in Jamaica is pretty much bland. The hurricane is right in the middle. The hurricane's over no man's land right now. So if I'm not stuck out flying real world in the hurricane this week, I will fly into the hurricane on Microsoft Flight Sim, so we'll see what happens. I'm actually supposed to be on call this week here, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that, because if I don't get called in, we could be streaming right when the hurricane hits landfall, but I have this feeling that I'm going to be called out to fly. Why are my screens not powering up? Is this a new thing? It must be. Okay, so we are back to 1995, where we are afraid of burn through and we are turning all of our screens off. Is that a toggleable option? Because that, if I have one pet peeve in Sims, it's when they do this crap. No, I do not want to turn my brightness knobs up every single time I get in the airplane. This is not 1995. Come on, Phoenix. You can do better than that. If you do fly the hurricane, stay safe. Thank you, Peyton. Yeah, man, it's going to be, I think it's going to be all right. I know we have family in Tampa as well. I know a lot of you were talking about the hurricane, being a little bit anxious. Don't worry. This is, if it's your first rodeo, there's a lot that can happen between now and Wednesday. So here we go. Max Ranks in the house. What's up, Max? Good to see you, man. Haven't talked to you in a while. Hope you're well, Max. Hope you had a good trip. I think you went back over to the motherland, right? But welcome back, man, if you're back, and welcome to the stream. Ground control on CVR test. Let's do it. Beautiful. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Phoenix, what's up with that? Come on, turning the brightness off. What is this? What is this? You know how long it took for Tolis to come up with an option so we didn't have to turn the brightness up every frickin' time we powered up the airplane? Oh, man. And now Phoenix is taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Let's go nav lights position 1. Strobe into auto position. Off auto here. Arm the seatbelt lights. Let's go ahead and get the dome light on. Let's brighten this up because we're kind of behind the terminal building right now, so it's kind of dark. But we'll get the lighting up here. The sim, I gotta say, the sim is looking absolutely fantastic. Like, everything looks sharp. I do not have DLSS on because I'm waiting for the update. But as far as, I don't know, it just looks better. I saw some weather conditions, looked really good. The rain, the clouds look even better than they did before. The sim looks sharper than it did before. So I'm just, I'm loving the update from what I've seen so far. Like I said, I only did 1 brief little test flight. I started hot on the runway, but the sim seemed to be looking really, really sharp. I can't wait for the NVIDIA update to do the DLSS testing as well. But that Phantom did the APU. Everything looks good on the right-hand side. Cargo heat would just put you in a 12 o'clock position. Everything looks good up there. Beautiful. Having some sort of switch state would be great, so many switches I gotta flip that can never be off. I know. They even had that right startup sequence, you said, and then they tossed it away. Yeah, and look, so they go ahead and they turn off my screens, but I still have flight directors on here. Why do I have flight directors? And why can I turn the flight directors back on when the airplane's not aligned? Phoenix, come on. You guys are better than that. You guys are better than that. I would have much rather seen the flight director fixed than the screens being dark when you turn them on, like you just got in behind Mr. Old Captain Bill. He's been flying for 76 years, and he's still turning his LED screens down. All right. Down to the McDo panel. Let's go ahead and get the initialization. AOC, flight init. Let's go ahead and pull this like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start GSX boarding, because that takes quite some time, right? So, and I think I did this right. I didn't have Christy to help me this morning.
Is too small for
but let's go ahead and
aircraft.
start the boarding process. So we're going to request boarding.
Requested.
And then we'll come over here to weight and balance. And then I'm going to just do an instant load here, right? So we're going to go boom, and we're going to go instant. And that's going to give us that. But we're going to wait for the GSX to complete their boarding. So that's what we've got planning. So we're just going to pretend this is a planned load, and then what GSX has done will be done. But that looks good right there. Initialization page over here. Let's pull it on the main page. Not Captain Bill. VT Jake. Giants game tonight, my friend. VT Jake. I hope you're going to be in the Discord, man, because I'm going to talk some mad smack when the Cowboys whip up on the Giants tonight. But, do you have issues with GSX for the quote or not start? I have to mute. Man, yes, the Aviator, it's very finicky for me, okay? The GSX is still very finicky, and I said I wasn't even going to use it unless we were doing VA Friday streams, but
Pilot's boarding starting.
I kind of wanted to, I like to see the catering come, and I want to use the tow bar pushback instead of the Ferrari tugs, which I don't know why. That's just another pet peeve of mine. Unless you're a heavy, I feel like no airplane should push back on a Ferrari tug. And I say Ferrari tug, but those are the tugs that lock the gear, kind of like what we have out front here, which looks like we're going to have that. I thought I changed that. Can I edit that before we push back?
This is too small for your
I
aircraft.
thought I changed that to pushback toolbar. Let's see. If I do GSX settings, and then I do... Where was it, like lift or whatever, right? That's simulation. I had this fixed before. Oh, you know what? It might be part of the scenery. You're right, Chaos. Now, Alberto D, what's going on, man?
Starting.
What's going on, Alberto? Good to see you, my friend. But yeah, so we got our belt loaders in here. Belt loaders are good. The cargo is going to come up. I like seeing all that stuff. But the whole GSX process as a whole is still very finicky. I think it'll get better. I really do. If you're not dying to have GSX, you know, you might be better off saving your money just for a little bit. But I think it's going to be a great program in the future. I think it just needs some more updates and some native integration with the sim. Okay, what do we have here flight plan wise? We're going up to flight level 360. It had us at 38, but that's a little aggressive for this flight. So we're going to go 36. Tropo's in there. That looks good. We're Cactus 357. Right now, winds are pretty much dead calm here, right? Let's take a quick look at Phoenix. I mean, that's Phoenix in the fall is beautiful. It's just calm, cool. You get about a week of nice weather here. Right now, 080 at 7. Ooh, they're actually out of the east a little bit, so we'll go to... We'll do a little bit of a taxi. We're going to taxi down to runway 8. And we are on the Keens. The Keens 2. Passengers are boarding. I like that little... Now we can hear them, you know. It gets a little bit of atmosphere. I like that. I do like that part of GSX. I got to admit. You know, even though it's kind of buggy right now, kind of twitchy, just listening to the ambience of passengers boarding, I really like that. Are you going to get the new 4090 when it comes out? Peyton, if I can get my hands on one, you bet, dude. Problem is, I think I'm going to need to upgrade my whole PC then, because I think I'm going to need a new motherboard to hold a new processor. Because if I go with the new GPU, I don't think my processor is going to be able to power the GPU. So now I'm going to just, it's just one thing after another. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with availability and parts right now. That's kind of the big thing. We got to wait for parts and I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I mean, it took a dozen years to get a 3090, so we'll see. You get the atmosphere for free on the fly-by-wire. Hey, Chaos, and that's one thing that I've always said I loved about the fly-by-wire is the fact that you get all of the ambience. I don't know why I can't speak. I heard Flightdeck the Sim, he called everybody a twats in chat today. I don't know, it's just, maybe it's a tongue-tie Monday or something like that. But I don't know I do really like that about the fly-by-wire. All right, there's our initial load sheet. We'll go ahead and do that. Looks like we're adding 5 passengers. We'd have to go ahead and get an amendment because we're off by 2. So that's fine. As far as our route, it's in there. Let's do an arrival. Let's plan the ILS 7, or actually we could do the RNAV 7. So Santa Barbara, if you've never flown in there, it's a beautiful airport. I can't wait for you guys. I can't believe we haven't flown in there on stream. It's and I have to credit Mr. I believe it's Nordo Nye in the Discord. He was posting some screenshots in FS Labs. I got a mad respect for him flying P3D still. And I gotta admit, his sim looks pretty decent on some of the screenshots, but he posted some pictures into Santa Barbara, and I was like, you know what? We've never flown to Santa Barbara on stream, and it's a stunning approach. It's beautiful, beautiful part of California to go visit. So they got 7. I kind of want to land the other direction. Winds were calm last I looked. We could do a VOR. This could be spicy. Why don't we do the VOR overlay GPS to 2.5? Let's set that up. And our arrival, we're planning on the Pitbull 1. It's the only arrival in there. Crimson Ghost, welcome to Private Pilot, my friend. Welcome to Private Pilot. Thank you for the membership. Exclamation point, welcome. And you should be good to go. Pushback trucks are based on weight according to what GSX dev team says. Well, they can go ahead and pound sand because I don't want to have Ferrari tugs on my 320. No, I'm just kidding. A lot of guys like them, honestly. I mean, I'm a traditionalist when it comes to pushback. I like the tow bar. I think the actual, like, the locking gear and everything is probably safer. It's more controllable. There's less variables, I think. Less chance for crews getting hurt with it. We're coming into Porps. But then if we do the VOR 2.5, how are we going to connect this? I guess we can do it off Quang. So let's just set up for off of Quang for 2.5. Can we do that? I don't even think we have that in the box. We don't even have that in the box. So since it's not in the box, and it would be in real life, you should be able to have a RNAV overlay here. So let me just make sure. Oh, there it is. VOR 2.5. I had to go one more. VOR 2.5, Pitbull 1. We're going to Porps. And can we get an approach via Quang? Yes, we can. Beautiful. That's going to look real good. Let's go ahead and go plan mode. Let's go constraint mode on. And then we're just going to hit the airport key, bring us to the bottom of our flight plan. And now we're going to step back and we can kind of see what we did here. So that should actually sync up really nicely. It sure does. That's pretty much flawless flight planning from SimBrief. It's going to be a nice departure too. Right-hand turn over the mountains. All right, so our flight plan is set. Tow bar looks cooler. I agree with you, man. Instrument approach, why not a visual? Oh, Gustavo, we're going to do a visual, but we're just going to back it up with the VOR just so we can do something different. Have some green needles up. What the hell? Santa Barbara has great weather. Really enjoyed my visit there. Yeah, Mr. Martini. Santa Barbara is a beautiful place. Beautiful place. What do I recommend sensitivity for the TCA? Freda, unfortunately, I do not have a recommendation for that because I do not use the TCA stick. I will say this, and since you brought it up, I've been a big proponent of 14% curves on my Warthog base side stick. The one little live test I did before the stream, I actually decreased my curve on my side stick to about 10%. So if I bring you in a tiller cam here real quick. So I have 14%. I put 10% on here now. I actually made it a little bit more sensitive, and I feel like we'll find out more, be more conclusive after some crosswind tests. But I think with the new flight modeling and some of the new tweaks, 10% felt a little bit more responsive. A 14% curve, I started to feel a little bit laggy with the control inputs. So for whatever that's worth for you, but unfortunately I do not have the TCA stick, so it's hard for me to give you a hard recommendation on that. What's up, Migs? Thank you for the $14 dono, man. Super chat. Appreciate you, sir. He says if we're just firing off a quick V1 crosswind testing hype super chat. Migs, thank you, my friend. Appreciate that. I'm glad you're hyped for it. I'm hyped for it. I think it's gonna be fun. We're gonna ramp up the winds, and it's gonna be a sweet little flight over there. Look at these guys going to work down here. This is cool. I like this. This adds some really nice immersion. Gotta admit, this is really nice. I'm liking this. You can see him throwing bags on the airplane. What's up, Alonzo? Good to see you, man. But thanks again, Migs. I appreciate your super chat. Yeah, it's gonna be. We're gonna find the limit. So as of right now, if you're unaware, I've self-imposed a 15-knot crosswind limitation on the Fenix for me personally. But we're gonna find the new limit today, and we're gonna ramp it all the way up until we can't control it. Now in the Airbus, there is a recommended, or I'm sorry, a demonstrated maximum crosswind of 38 knots, or max demonstrated. Now, by definition, a maximum demonstrated crosswind is not a limitation. You can actually land in crosswinds higher than that. My personal record is about 43 knots crosswind. And let me tell you, it is wild. And that was almost direct. I mean, there's probably about, if I'm trying to remember, it was probably about 35 to 38 knots of crosswind, and the rest was headwind. I mean, it was almost all crosswind. The airplane is coming in completely sideways, and it's brutal. Very challenging to land in. Definitely a flaps 3 scenario. But where my operator works is there is no actual limitation on it for crosswinds. It's just we have to be advisable of 38 knots, and as a captain, you got to make sure that you're comfortable with whatever wind limitations are out there. Now, of course, good training and all that's going to come into play, because you don't just want to not go somewhere because you can't land in a 10-knot crosswind. That's not the case, but you have to use your brain too, and other things come into play: runway distance, runway conditions, elevation, things like that. What did the hot fix? I was out of the loop. You know, RC, I don't know what I think the hot fix fixed some audio stuff. There was like a repeating sound, and then they added drag to flaps 2 and 3. So I did get the fix for the fix. I got the hot fix for the update that came out as well. So we're going to run it all today for the first time. I have not experienced it at all, other than by takeoff and landing to make sure my controls were bound. That's pretty much it. Because there's one other thing too that you can bind is the auto throttle disconnect button. So if I go back to tiller cam, you can't really see it here, but on the side of the thrust quadrants, or the thrust levers, you have these little red push buttons. This is the proper way to disconnect auto thrust. It's the same way that you would disconnect the autopilot via the autopilot instinctive disconnect, or actually this is the takeover push button, but this is how you disconnect the autopilot. This is how you properly disconnect the auto thrust, and now you can bind that as well, which is nice to see that binding. So I've got that bound up and ready to go as well. All right, AOC menu, receive messages. This is probably final load sheet. Cool, we've accepted that. Beautiful. We can come over here to a knit B page. Let's go over here to our main weight and balance page on the Phoenix. So we have a zero fuel 130.4 and 30.4. That's nice. 130.4 and 30.4. That is set. Our fuel in tanks, we've got 13.3. Check to make sure it is balanced, and on board it is. Let's get our fuel tank pumps on. Seatbelt sign on. And let's put that in the box for 13.3. 13.3 is set. That is done. It's going to do a little prediction, and then we're going to get the APU fired up and get out of here. Captain, what add-ons do you recommend for Microsoft and the Phoenix? Honestly, I don't have any add-ons in my sim other than the airplanes, so, and GSX. And the GSX, like I said, it's kind of a, it's, you know, I don't think it's a must-have add-on, but it definitely adds to the immersion level with the sounds. But I would spend your money on airports and airplanes, man. Airports and airplanes. All right, so here's our final time, 47 extra minutes. That looks good there. So we'll go to the perf page. We'll leave that out. 2613, 1800 is or 18,000 is trans altitude. That looks good. Let's go ahead and get rid of that page. Let's put you back on the flight plan page. And let's do a quick takeoff perf assessment. So let's sync our final load sheet, even though we're not really the final, just because GSX is kind of a visual thing here. We're going to do Toga for sure. We're going to force Toga. Yeah, we got to see this. We'll do Toga packs on. And we're going to sync the live weather. 29 or 9 or 2. Jeez, beautiful day. Calculate that. Let's see what we got here. I'm not sure if the weather radar is working. I don't believe it is. I think they just released the API for the devs, but I don't believe the weather radar is actually functioning yet. 30, 36, 39, flaps 3. Really? Flaps 3, that's interesting. Chris Borton coming in with a $20 super chat. Chris Borton, thank you so much for that massive dono, man. He says, beer, whiskey, and more of those foo-foo coffees you like. Your choice, Captain. Thanks for doing what you do. Chris Borton, dude, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you. That's awesome. That's a huge super chat. Very much appreciative of that. And, yeah, I'm definitely going to have to get on the frou-frou coffees, my friend. Have to get on the frou-frou coffees. But really appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Duffman says they actually released a very basic uses API. Nothing in dev can use. Uh-oh. Are you using a sound pack? No sound pack at all, Link Space Program. No sound pack. This is default with the GSX. I don't really need the dome light anymore. We'll go ahead and turn that off. Let's go ahead and fire up the APU. Let's see if it sounds any different outside. So that is coming up. We don't have any ATC. We are aligned, so let's get our flight directors back on. Flight directors back on. Hit the magic barrow key, 29901. Top altitude doesn't matter. We're going all the way to 36. That is set. And let's fire it up. Take a listen. Georgetown, California is calling me. Huh? Interesting. Perfect Calc is also doing shenanigans. Flaps 3 for Toga on Phoenix. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. That doesn't seem quite legit. It's a pretty calm day. I don't think we're that heavy. We only have 13,000 pounds of gas. We're taking off in it. I mean, maybe it's for, I don't know. I don't know. Al Looper says, I was reading over the Phoenix Discord that there really isn't a weather API. It's more of a simplistic bitmap. I gotcha. And I'm sorry, I kind of missed the chown. This APU sound has been turned down a lot. Yeah, it is. It doesn't seem all that loud. I wish it was louder. Is it difficult to turn on flight director before pushing? Yes, mostly mustard. You want to have one FD2 right here. This is kind of a check that I do. One FD2 right there before I push back. You want to be aligned. Now, I missed the chat though. Is there a way to save the power up state of the airplane? Because having to turn up those screens every time is going to be annoying. Let's see. Sim settings. No. Controls. No. 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 I don't know why this keeps switching. No. Yes. No. Yes, I want yellow hydraulic steering. And I want nav and go around. Beautiful. Controls. There is no way. Interesting. Yeah, Tolis made us turn up the screens for years, Gavin. Up until now. There is the latest update on X-Plane 12. You can start with screens at 80%, which is realistic. I don't know. I mean, if you do a securing checklist, theoretically it says turn the brightness down, but maintenance wakes up the airplanes in the mornings anyway, so I don't know. Maybe it's just a European thing. I don't know. But I think I've probably turned up the brightness on my screens with the new screens, not the old LCDs, but with the new with all the new glass. I think I've turned up the screens probably a dozen times in my career. So, but like I said, just could be a European thing. Maybe they turn them off all the time. All right, 30, 36, and 39. We'll put that in the box. 130, 136, and 139. We're doing a flaps 3 for some reason. Toga takeoff, no flex. That looks good. APU is up and running. We forgot to start the chrono. We're going to have terrain mode on because it is high terrain. We're going to put our VOR pointers on just for added situational readiness. Bring that down to 10. We're going to taxi out runway 8. We'll do a let's do a 2-engine start. I would like to do a single-engine taxi, but I want to hear the full sound startup. So we're going to do a 2-engine start. We'll start them both up. We'll taxi out to runway 8. Departure to the north. There is terrain. All quadrants. We'll be careful of that. Looks like we've got a right-hand turnout. We've got a restriction here at or above 7,220 knots. That shouldn't be a problem for us today. It looks like we're already going to complete that. So that's your takeoff briefing. Everything else looks good there. Let's go ahead and get the APU bleed on. Let's turn off the external power. At that point, we'll come over here to ground services. Why not force flaps 1 plus 7 force Toga? I just did optimum, so I don't know. I don't know what's up and why it did what it did. All right, we're almost ready to go. Looks like you put flap setting as optional. Let me double check. Optimum. So optimum should give you the best flap config. I mean, I don't hate it. I mean, we're not going to be. It's not that crazy of a departure, but I just thought flaps 3 was weird. What if I took force Toga off? Just to see. So even with Toga off, it's giving me a flaps 3. Yeah. We're not going to die. We'll be fine. Would it be because of high density, high temperature ops? Not really. I mean, it is 29C and 1100 outside at 1100 altitude elevation. So, I mean, it is warmer than I thought. 29C? Jeez. What the hell is going on with you guys in Phoenix? I thought it was fall. I had to put a hoodie on for the first time ever this morning. It was absolutely glorious. Does it think your numbers are in kilos? I don't think so. It is a little warm, Duffman, so now you got me thinking. I did not realize it was already 30C in Phoenix. Frickin' Scorcher Fest out here already. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, guys. Flight 477, what's up, man? Thank you for the $2 super chat. Hope all is well, everyone. Hey, Flight Force, thank you, dude. I appreciate you. Doing good, man. I feel much better. My voice is still a little off, but everything else, I'm feeling really, really good. Actually went fishing yesterday. Going to do some fishing today before the Cowboys game. So I'm doing good. Hope you're well. Thank you for the support, man. I appreciate you stopping by. It's a dry heat, Mr. Martini. It's a dry heat. What if I did a flap 1 plus F? I mean, we're only 143,000 pounds. There we go. There's our flap 1. 41, 41, 44. Okay, so that's fine. Maybe I haven't had enough coffee this morning. I'm having a hard time processing why the optimum flap config would be 3. Like, I'm not disagreeing with the numbers. I don't think the numbers seem weird. My brain isn't quite awake yet. I'm sure it's something that I'm actually quite sure it's something that I'm not taking into consideration. Because I've actually done comparisons with the Fenix EFB performance calculator to real takeoff data that I get for the real airplane from Aerodata, which is what almost all major airlines use here in the U.S. And the numbers have been within a knot of each other. I mean, it has been eerily similar. So I'm not discrediting the Fenix EFB here. I'm thinking it's just something that I'm not taking into account. But yeah, see, optimum flap config, it goes to 3. Maybe that's what it is. You know, maybe optimum would be a flaps 3, but Aerodata in real life probably wouldn't give me a flaps 3 because they would take into account terrain and all that, and they would actually say, hey, we're not going to give you a flap 3 here because of the terrain. So maybe that's what's going on. Maybe that's what's going on. It's not a big deal. We're going to be totally fine. Everything is good. We're just waiting to finish the boarding process from GSX. Airplane is loaded up. Chocks are pooled. GPU is pooled. You guys have been briefed. I have been briefed. Let's just take a nice look here out the window. Hope you didn't get paid a visit from Uncle COVID, Aunt Rona. No, Uncle COVID. I thought it was Uncle COVID coming to give me a visit this weekend, but it wasn't. It was actually a respiratory something virus, RSV. If you have young kids, you might have heard of it. But my little girl picked it up from one of her little preschool parties, and she brought it home. And when one kid gets sick now, this is all new to me, is this parenting thing. So one kid gets sick, then the other kid got sick, then I got sick. I don't know how my wife didn't get sick. She's the one in the trenches most of the time too, so she never got it, but we all got it. Wasn't too bad, just annoying. It was more annoying than anything. Like, I lost my voice, sinus pressure and all that. But how much boarding is left? I don't know. It's not telling me, Chaos.
This
It does
parking
take
is
forever.
too small for your aircraft.
It says boarding passengers now. I'm gonna do all this. There we go. So now it'll start flashing up here. I had the messages off because I didn't like it popping up, but let's see what we got. And we should get a number up here any second. Yeah, Flight Force. That's what the doctor said. So my youngest is the one that we're actually more concerned about her. But yeah, my 3-year-old pushed through it pretty good. I handled it fine. It was more annoying than anything. And my youngest she actually has a little nebulizer thing that we got for her to make sure she pulls through. But she's doing good. You have to set density boarding so it's faster. No boarding status information, too much realistic, but without allowing you to climb the jetway to check the boarding. I know, Gustavo, I've got to do the walk. So in real life, we would do the walk. I would probably do the walk right about now. So the walk is, oh no, I hate when I do that. It's going to mess up all my views. So I'd walk, I'd come out here, saying hello. I'm not seeing anybody. I think we're pretty much done, actually. Oh, I can't leave the airplane. Walk up top, make sure there's no jump seaters, none of that stuff. And be on our way.
This parking is too small for your aircraft.
133 of 162. Jesus. Right, let's bump it up a little bit. Let's bump it up a little bit. Come on. Let's board up here. Let's go. Let's go. We're going to miss our departure time. We're supposed to be off blocks at 45. It's 32 real time. So that's one thing that that I think you guys should really strive to achieve too, is when you're getting in the Phoenix, set your departure time, give yourself 45 minutes to fire up the airplane and get off blocks. So 45 minutes is the traditional turn time for a narrow body like this. Even on an all-econ configuration, you should be able to board up, get everything done, and push. And if you're starting to get good, you should be able to push 10 early. So you should be able to go from cold and dark, off the gate, fully loaded, fueled up, ready to go at 35 minutes. So, and then if you start doing it at 30 minutes, then you're really good. But the thing is, if you leave more than 10 prior, you need to get a clearance from operations and dispatch, because you can't leave more than 10 prior, at least here in the U.S., unless you have permission. And that could be, if there's somebody running to the gate, you don't want to just leave them. But if the gate agent says, yeah, everybody's checked in, everybody's on board, let's close the doors and push. So, do you use GSX for refueling or just boarding? I used it for everything, but I'm just kind of feeling it out right now. It's not too sharp. It's still kind of glitchy, but I enjoy. The couple times I've used it, I've enjoyed it. I really like the catering animations. I like the pushback options. I'm actually waiting for that. I think it's going to be nice on this pushback, actually having a tow bar, and I think I don't know. I think it's going to add that immersion level to the sim. I just don't think it's there quite yet. I can set Airbus up in 5. I'm almost always waiting on the bad crews. Yep, exactly. What's up, Team Vodka's in the house, dude? Oh my goodness, what's going on, dude? Are you planning on sterilizing the whole ground crew, leaving the terrain radar on like that? Team Vodka, yes, I am, because terrain radar is actually database related. So check out V1 Simulations on YouTube. He's got a whole thing about the terrain database and JipWiz and all that. So it's actually not emitting any radar emissions. So the terrain on ND, even though it's called a terrain radar, it's not actually emitting any frequencies out of the airplane. It's all based on database. So check out V1 Sim on YouTube. Give him a like and give him a subscribe. But just messing, man. What's up? Hope you're doing good. Weather radar is a different story. Weather radar down here, you start zapping people. That's a different ballgame. 35 minutes, Chris Stooper. What's up, man? Come on, you can turn a plane in 35, can't you, Chris Stooper? Oh, if I remember, ICAO flight plan clearance is not given prior blocks off 15. Oh, really? Ours is 30, Gustavo. So we have 30 minutes. You can do it 30 prior. There it is. There's the bell. I think boarding is complete. So now we're going to go here.
Is too small
and we're going to go prepare for pushback and departure. I don't know why this keeps popping up, but pushback and departure. Door is closed. I can hear it closing. You like that, Jeremy?
Hello, Captain. We're ready for pushback.
All right, stand by. We'll be right with you. All right, let's go ahead and go beacon on. And let's go over here and make sure that we don't have to do anything in the Phoenix menu. Everything is closed up there. That looks good. Let's go back to our perf data. That looks good. All right, windows, doors, and slides.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Aha, bypass pin inserted. So he's going to bring the proper pushback toolbar. What are we at? 4-star checklist. Windows, doors, and slides. Closed on. Beacon on. Thrust levers idle. Parking brake is on. 4-star checklist is complete. Now, is he going to tell me to release brakes? Now, he said bypass pin inserted, but I don't see it. So I want to go nose right, tail left. I think that's the one I did. I customized one. I hope this is the right one.
Locking gear.
What? Son of a... All this work to get a proper pushback, and you gave me a freaking thing. Ugh. I thought we were on a toolbar. What the hell? This is what I'm talking about with GSX. It's still like... so close, but so far.
Release parking brakes.
Brakes release, clear to push.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Yeah, I will. Thank you, cowboy. Will one of these, like, GSX developers just, like, get me and Blue Games together so we can record a proper conversation for Pushback in the U.S.? That demotivation. Demotivated me for sure. Careful these windows, guys. This is RSV on the windows here. RSV lives on the windows longer than Uncle COVID does. Gotta be careful of that. You sound so disappointed at the ramp. I did. The whole point. I wanted to use a proper toolbar. Why is it so hard for me to get a damn toolbar in this sim? Unbelievable. Have fun trying the 30-minute in Central Europe during holiday season with Euro control slot times. Dan.
Set parking brakes.
Brakes set. Clear disconnect.
Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
I mean, I'll call you if I don't have a good engine start. Leave me alone. Alright, let's start engine 1. Stop talking to me because I want to hear this. Dan, I hear that though. Let's go ahead and turn engine 1. Enjoy the startup sounds. Let's see how good they are. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Mr. Phoenix, I like that.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear.
Drop me. I don't know who that captain is. Let's go ahead and turn 2. Oh, that PTU is on it. That is the juice. Wow, that was good. That was good. Got that?
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
It was never inserted.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
I don't give a shit. Sorry. All right. Mateo Chewy, thank you for the 25 months private pilot super chat. Appreciate you, man. 2 years in, I'm still learning every stream. Mr. Mateo Chewy, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. You're awesome, dude. Thank you for the continued support. That's really great, man. I appreciate that. Hope you enjoy the stream, man. It's going to be fun. I can't wait till we do our crosswind testing. All right. We got a tug. I don't even know where the tug is. Tug's over there. We got a pin over on the left-hand side of the aircraft. I don't know why he's doing that. I'll give you a little light. Have a good trip. Thank you, sir. Thank you for walking in front of the airplane, even though the terminal's on the left-hand side. I don't know what that's all about. Jeez, GSX. Killing me. All the good things I said about it, I'm about to take back. Let's go flaps 3. Look at that, though. That looks awesome, doesn't it? Is it possible to see your joystick sensitivity? Joystick sensitivity is at 10. Minus 10% curves on both sides, my friend. Minus 10 on both sides. All right, APU bleed is coming off. Master switch is coming off. Everything else looks good down here. Let's go ahead and... We don't have any ATCs. We're just going to squawk 2000. We'll get it all the way on right now. That looks good. Actually, that didn't go all the way over, did it? Yeah, it did. All right. We have a good start. Let's... go brakes released. Let's go taxi light on. Let's take a look outside. Let's taxi to runway 8. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right, we're going to runway 8. It's going to be a long taxi out. Brake check. Pressure 0. Mateo coming in with the 5 pounds on top of that. This is more like it for support, though. Hey, Mateo. Dude, I appreciate it, man. Whether you're a member, a supporter, a super chatter, I appreciate it all. Thank you for the 5 pounds, though. That's huge. I appreciate you, man. I think it's good. I think we might learn some stuff today on this Crosswind flying for sure. So, you've been around the channel a long time. I can't thank you enough for your consistent support. It's awesome. All right, so we're going to make a left-hand turn out here. Before I do that, I should be on Unicom, just in case. All right, looks pretty clear. We really need it. We desperately need a payware Phoenix, don't we? Engines definitely sound better, Aaron. I agree with you, man. The sounds, the startup sounds, very good. Very good. I really like the startup sounds. The sound set is much improved. Much improved. I'm very impressed with those startup sounds. Very, very impressed. USA Flyer, welcome to Commercial Pilot, man. Welcome to Team Green. Thank you for the support. Exclamation point, welcome. Give you your new information on the new perks here at the channel. So thank you so much. Yeah, the flap textures, Jeremy. The flap textures are awesome. We need 200 likes before takeoff? Ooh, spicy. If we get 200 likes before takeoff, we'll turn the packs off so we can hear the engines go full. If that, we're going to keep the packs on. We're still going to do Toga, but you guys got till the end of the runway to get 200 likes and we'll turn the packs off. We'll let the engines just rip. What's up, Tony Johns? I was halfway through Detroit in the Phoenix. I'd fly with you. Ah, no worries, man. Yeah, early stream today. I had to. I got to do some things I got to take care of. I promised one of my friends who does a lot of lawn work for us. I promised him a cooler of fresh fish. So after the stream, I got to go do some fishing, get him some fish for him and his family, and I got to do that all before the Cowboys game starts. Although I don't know why I want to watch the Cowboys game because I'm sure they're going to disappoint me. Congrats on the 30K subs. Oh my gosh, you're absolutely right, Nick Hill. I totally spaced on that. You know, we were so close last week after a long haul, and then I kind of just stopped looking, and you're absolutely right. It says 30,000 subs. 30K subs in the house. You guys are absolutely awesome. Wow, 30,000 subs. We left for the South America tour at 25K subs, and we came back at 30. How awesome is that? You guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys. Without you guys, without you subscribers, this channel would be not be what it is. You subscribers, you members especially, support the channel. Absolutely fantastic. That's I love it, man. That's crazy. Kevin Thomas says, I was pleasantly surprised when I found out MD-90 also had the V2500s. Oh, yeah. Thought it was an Airbus exclusive. No, Kevin. In fact, in X-Plane 11, there was a mod that Carter had. He had a mod where we took his engines and put them on the, what was it, the Rotate MD-80. But, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. Team Vodka, what am I going to do at 30K? I don't think we're going to do anything at 30K because we just finished our tour. I think I kind of like this every 5,000. So at 35K will be the next tour. We'll do a next tour at 35K, and then maybe by the time we finish that tour, we'll be at 40K. I kind of like being off because I feel like everybody does the milestones, 10, 20, 30, which is cool. It's great. But it's just kind of the way it's worked out with subscriber counts and all that. So like we start a tour and we started our very first tour was at 7,000 subs, so it makes sense. We did a 7,000 sub, 7-hour stream. Then we came back at 10,000 subs, and then we did a Asia Pacific tour at like 20K. So next one at 35K. That'll be the next big one. That'll be the next big one. I have a couple ideas already. Any news about an IAE option? I have not heard anything yet, Raphael. I have not heard anything yet about a new option. Now, here's a question. Can you bind the pedal disconnect button yet? Let's do a flight control check here real quick. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral. So I go full left, and I can counter it with the tiller. But I think if you click in this... Aha, check this out. So, full left, very cool. Oh, but my rudder's not working. Rip. Full left, full right. So, when I press the tiller disconnect button down, I can't do my flight control check. So, we've taken another step backwards. That's all right. I think they're doing that, though, for controls. Not everybody has a tiller. Just unfortunate you can't do a proper flight control check. So, the only way to do a proper flight control check then would be to use the tiller to counteract your rudder. There's our full left. And then there's our full right. Neutral. We had a trim setting of 0.2 down. So I got to stick that in there. There's 0.2 down. I think I'm going to have to dedicate a video to the rudder disconnect push button. Just so everybody's clear on what it is. Fedora, what's up? Late here, but bet the stream is going to be a blast. Oh, it's going to be fun. And the best part is, when we land in Santa Barbara, which is absolutely beautiful, it's only going to get better, because then we're going to ramp up the winds. We'll do a normal flight, we'll see how the handling is, but then we're going to ramp up the winds in Santa Barbara, and it's going to be absolutely juicy. Oh, Phoenix Ground is online. Let's see if I get a clearance, I guess. Oh, he's south ground. I'm on the north side, though. Gustavo, I like where your head's at with the tour, my friend. I like where your head's at. All right, auto brakes max. Takeoff config is checked. Everything else is done. PWS on auto. We can move that switch, which is nice. We're past 200 likes, so we're going to have to do a Toga packs off takeoff, which we will do that down here at the end. Phoenix South ground 3255. Well, I guess I can get a clearance from him at the very least. We'll stop short of 8 down here. Packs off in Phoenix. That sounds horrible. Yeah, it's going to be a toasty one. It's going to be a toasty one. This would be, this is a good learning moment. So the packs off in the Airbus is going to give you more thrust, but it's also going to heat up that cabin. The best workaround is to actually keep the APU bleed on, because the APU bleed will prioritize and it will provide environmental control to the cabin while not taking any engine bleeds from the engine, which would, oh, they still have that click and drag bug, which will keep the cabin cool and you still have max performance. So that would be, this would be one of those airports where if I had a packs off on my takeoff perf where I had to do it, I would very, very, very much prefer to keep the APU bleed on. Stop right here. Brakes are set. Taxi light is off. Let's just give him a call so we don't take off without a clearance or something. 3255. What's our min takeoff fuel? We gotta watch that. 3255 is up, and we're sitting at 12.9. We're okay. Now, what's the ATIS code? ATIS code is Information Juliet. Phoenix ground, Cactus 357. We're short of runway 8 here with Information Juliet. We need to pick up a clearance from you before we take off.
You just want to get out of here, just squawk for me 0301.
0301 for Cactus 357. Look at those
Cactus
textures.
357, no further ATCs available. Switching Unicom 122.8. Have a great flight.
Over to Unicom 228. Have a good one, Cactus 357. All right, we did our part. Phoenix traffic, Cactus 357, going to be departing runway 8 to the west. Phoenix. Let's do this. Light it up. You guys smashed the 200 likes, so that's awesome. We're going to go PAX off. See a change here at all? Not much. We can hear the ECS kick off. All right, let's do this. This is going to be juicy. Alfie Douglas, thank you for your continued support, man. Lick the stamp and send it. I like that. I like that a lot. Oh, yeah. Good sounds. It's just the CFM sound weak compared to the IAEs. It's not a Phoenix problem, it's a CFM problem. Packs off in the Phoenix cabin. Oh yeah, it's already probably starting to get toasty in the cabin. We won't dilly-dally. Members in chat, let's turn into blue. Let's go Yoga's in chat. Yoga's in chat. We're going to do a static because I want to hear the sounds. Runway 8 is confirmed. Lined up like a boss. Spill him up 50, nose forward on the stick. Yoga's here we go. Stable. Yoga. Oh, yeah. A lot of N1 there. A lot of N1. Man, Toga, SRS, a runway. Auto thrust is blue. Thrust set. 100 knots. Check. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Ooh, they fixed that little, okay. Base. Fly with. So they fixed the that nose down. It blends a little bit quicker now. Our speeds look a little off though, don't they? Look at our VLS. What's our VLS doing way up there? It's lower than nose. Thrust climb, climb. F speed, we're gonna go straight to flaps 1. There's that pitch up. I love that. You can even see it pitching up. I gotta get the nose forward here, back to the flight director. Something seemed off about that speed. Everything seemed off about that takeoff. From our flap config to the rotation speed, and the VLS was like right in the bug. I don't know. Something seemed sketch. Brandon, yeah, I have that bug where you right-click and hold the controls. It's annoying. Nothing you can do about it unless you change the binding itself. I'm going to turn the sound down a little bit here. We got a bank angle check coming up. Look at that, though. That just looks beautiful. Oh, shoot. Forgot all about the packs. Pack 1 is on. We'll give it a timer here. Air pack 2 off. That's associated. Here comes S speed. We'll go flaps 0, and then we will go packs 2 on. Love it. And pack 2 on. All right, here comes the bank angle check to the right. Yeah, they improved the blending. That's exactly what it felt like, Aaron. It's still there. It still drops that nose a little bit if you're too quick on releasing that aft pressure, but it blends much faster. Overall, it feels good. I just think I don't know. I'm I'm not convinced that, oh wow, look, I'm speeding below 250 already. Do we have a speed limit of 220? Yeah, we do. I don't know what she's commanding here. Still no volume sliders, unfortunately. Heat strokes and nosebleeds. What more could you want? Jeez. Right over South Mountain. God, this is awesome. So, this is my old stomping grounds, man. There's Sky Harbor. This all used to be connected. It had much more water in it. I used to do a lot of fishing right here. I believe that's the 202. Part of Loop 202 freeway down there, and like what, 101 and 202, something like that. I used to know all these like the back of my hand. All right, 220 at or above 7. We smoked that. Whoa, a little bit of turbulence there. Look at that trend arrow. So Phoenix, you get a lot of that orographical lifting down here. There's 10,000. We'll go ahead and clean it up. Gosh, I hate light manipulation in the sim. Doesn't matter what sim it is. All right, we'll go ahead and throw the autopilot on. I'm going to enjoy some of these views here. Whoa, what? Interesting. There's Firebird, Phoenix Firebird, or Firebird Raceway. What is it? FIR? Phoenix International Raceway? Something like that. Dude, there's some high-speed boat racing down there, which is pretty cool. Get an overhead and be done with it. I know, Christy. Look at this dirt right here on this livery. I love that. A little bit of bleed over from these rivets on the leading edge. Firebird. PIR is farther away. Thank you. That's Firebird? Okay. PIR. Phoenix International. Yeah, you're right. You're right. PIR is further west and north, right? Look at that, though. That looks real, guys. If you've ever taken off out of Phoenix, that's exactly what it looks like right there. Jeff, the startup sounds are really good. Yeah, Diego, I'm enjoying the new sounds quite a lot. The new sounds are really nice. So when we did a flight instruction out of here, like I was over at Deer Valley, which is over here, and we would do the Phoenix Sky Harbor transition. So basically you'd fly over here and you'd cross right over midfield of Sky Harbor. You'd cross midfield Sky Harbor, and then you'd break out on this side, and then you'd go do maneuvers. And we would do a lot of holding out over here for the GPS 4 right into Chandler, and then you go down to Stanfield, do the stack, do the ILS practice down there. I mean, I burned a lot of holes in the skies of Phoenix. Mateo, yeah, exactly. The middle mouse button binding, that Team Vodka stuff, I can't get used to that. It drives me nuts. Much quieter in the cabin. Okay, let's go ahead and turn the chrono off. Turn terrain off. We're above the terrain. We're at 14. Pretty short flight, only about 350 miles to go. So we'll come back down here. We'll go secondary. We'll copy the active. Nothing to hard tune in RadNav progress page. We'll put KSBA in there. On COM 2, we will put Delta Operations. Monitor that. And we are well on our way, guys. Well on our way. Brake temps are better. Blue Mac, awesome. I think I saw somebody mention that. We're gonna find out today for sure in the in Santa Barbara when we get on the brakes a little bit harder. Have you ever been to Flagstaff? Oh yeah, many times, Jeremy. Many times. Diego, I know the IAE variant is gonna be superb. Sorry, I was watching Flight Deck to Sim this morning. He was streaming at 10. But yeah, the I cannot wait for that. That's just going to be epic. Speaking of Flight Deck to Sim, he did training out here in Arizona as well. So we probably were burning holes in the same sky right around the same time. I'm pretty sure we might have even had some overlap. Which I did not realize until I was watching one of his streams. So this is actually an Air Force base. I'm drawing a blank right now. Oh my gosh, what is this F-16 base out here called? Someone throw it in chat. So back in the day, when it was much more the Wild West, there was this thing called thumping. And basically what would happen is if there was a little Cessna 172 out flying around, and a lot of times we'd go to the same VORs and practice. There were some MOAs out, or some, not MOAs, but there was some airspace out here that you could fly into when they were not hot, but it's a lot of the times the F-16s would be transitioning, or they would be doing approaches to the same airport or the same piece of pavement out here. And what would happen is sometimes the F-16s would thump aircraft. Basically, they'd fly right up from underneath them, right in front of their flight path, and you'd get a hell of a wake turbulence thump. And unfortunately, FAA cracked down on that and got rid of that. But Luke Air Force Base, thank you, geez. So there was this would be some thumping used to occur out over here over the mountains of northwestern Arizona. FAA cracked down on that pretty hard, though. On a flight I was on, spent a long time at Threshold. Eventually, a guy comes alongside the aircraft looking at the gear, giving me thumbs up and a thumbs down on the FO. Any thoughts? Alfie, maybe it could have been something with a door. Maybe there could have been a door light or something on. That one's kind of weird. Where's PIR? Yeah, it would have been back here, wouldn't it? So PIR, I think we passed it. Oh, right here, maybe? It was like back here somewhere, wasn't it? Oh, maybe right there. Can't quite make it out. No, that's airport, so it would actually be further over here. But I mean, this is awesome. This is what it looks like. There's 18,000 feet. We'll go ahead and pull standard. 1, 2, and 3 times. That is set. Let's get our sun visor down. So they've made it so the eye adaptation doesn't really change the screens now, right? Let's see. A little bit. But it is brighter. I mean, it is brighter in the cockpit. Like, it doesn't really change very much here. I wish I could brighten it up even more, but it's an improvement. It's an improvement. Blase Green, thank you for the 4 months of support, man. It says, hey everyone, how you liking Sim? So far, so good, man. Really enjoying it. The Sim is running good. The Sim is looking sharper than ever, in my opinion. Running very smooth. I love the updates that have come to the Fenix so far. The sounds have been very good. The handling feels pretty good. We're going to get more into that here when we get into Santa Barbara and do our approach. But and the clouds look better. The rain looks better. Awesome. You got 6 out for some reason out of cold and dark. Circuit breakers. Let me see. Don't have any popped out here for me. Everything looks good for me on this side. Yeah, Jeff, the X-plane cockpits are... I mean, you need nods to fly on those suckers. If you have a light on in your room when you're flying an X-plane, forget about it. You can't see your cockpit at all. It's just so dark. But yeah, I agree, Orbital Jeff. The sounds are fantastic. So if we put VOR mode on, we already passed Buckeye? Oh, Blythe. There's Blythe. Gila Bend. Oh, Gila Bend was back off the left. I have some funny stories of Gila Bend. Used to send students out there. Where are we headed? There's Blythe out here. Needles. We're going to go right through 29 palms. Oh, this is going to be one hell of a scenic flight. You guys are in for a treat. In X-Plane 11, it's actually better than 12, Logan. In X-Plane 11, the cockpits seem a little bit better than 12, in my opinion, at least on my screen. Performance, I feel, is really good, Andres. I haven't had any issues yet. Somebody was asking about GPU temps. Let me check. So, somebody was talking about temps and performance. Let me pull up my manager here. Let me take a look. So, right now, GPU is running at 52%, which is, actually seems more than before. I think it was like in the 30s and 40s. I think I'm using more GPU now. GPU is running pretty good. 52%, running at 64 degrees Celsius. Seems pretty stable. 65, 64. It's kind of going between 65 and 64. And between 51%, 52% load. The CPU is working pretty hard, but that's because I'm streaming. So right now I'm doing 62% load on the CPU. But if I were to take off Streamlabs, I'd be immediately down to 50% and probably less. Streamlabs is pretty heavy on my CPU whenever I go live. But right now everything seems to be running pretty good. I don't want to jinx it. 4.68 gigahertz on the CPU speed. Sim is running smooth. I am running DirectX. I can't remember what I changed, if I changed it or not. I think I'm on 12 MIGs. The scenery at a Fenix was completely default, Nick. Everything you saw there was completely default. No add-ons whatsoever. What you're seeing, this whole flight is completely default, minus the Fenix, minus GSX at the gate, the ground service, and then Santa Barbara Airport itself. I can't remember if it's a payware that I have or it was one off the Flight Sim TO, but I have either way, I have a third-party scenery on my, excuse me, got the hiccups, third-party scenery on my Santa Barbara Airport. Yeah, Flight Beam on X-Plane or on Phoenix is going to be epic. I agree. I can't wait for that one either. I run GPU, Boris. GPU. All right, company message. What do we have? Cool deal. So it's not as loud as it used to be outside. You know, it's not as loud, but I still wish we had sliders. We're missing sliders, for sure. Just spam telex. Hey, it could be worse. Could be worse. The Mormons found me. Steven, I know. Hey, you could get a lot worse messages in that box, that's for sure. Pretty sure it's just bots. Check your tray table for a Bible we just left. Amen to that, brother. Yeah, I'm waiting for... I tried DLSS for a minute, and I had that, like, motion blur on my screens. So I'm waiting for the update, the NVIDIA update on that. Man, we really need those IE engines, don't we? We really need them. How are we doing in performance? So we are... I forgot to check our 10 and 250. I felt like we had a lot of performance climbing out. It seemed... I don't know. I know they did some tweaking with the thrust output, right? How's our fuel flows? We're doing 3,700 pounds an hour. Really? Still think they're pretty low. This is a solid update so far, I can tell, but I'm really looking forward to it. I think I wouldn't call this update game-changing yet for Phoenix. I think when we get a dedicated engine model, whether it be the IAE or... I think Amir originally said they wanted to... Was it they wanted to do a dedicated engine model for the CFM first, and then they were going to do the IAE? Or I don't know how they're going to do it, but whenever we get a true Phoenix engine model... I think that's going to be the next game-changing update for the Fenix. This one is pretty good. I think there's a lot of improvements in this one. Being able to bind the auto thrust disconnect, the blending on the takeoff rotation is a little bit less aggressive, which I never found to be a problem with anyway. You shouldn't really ever be pushing the nose forward on rotation anyway. You should just kind of keep it up and you slowly let that airplane blend. This one blends a little bit faster now, which is probably realistic. I didn't think the other one felt bad. It did feel a little bit snappy, but I think it is an improvement. I really wish we could get a proper nose wheel steering pedal disconnect bound, but I think that might be a Microsoft limitation because you can't bind the pedal disconnect itself as a button like you can in X-Plane. But as far as I know, X-Plane is the only sim with the toeless that has that properly bound, which is crazy because that's something that happens on every single flight. But I understand that a lot of people, I'd say the vast majority, probably don't even have tillers, so maybe it's just it's a problem for us that have the tiller situation. But just hopping on, what's up, Marcus? How do you like the new flare? I haven't done any new flares, so what is the flare? Is the flare changed as well? I'm going to be curious to that. I'm really my two biggest, actually, the three biggest points of emphasis I was looking at for this update were sounds, which I think are very good. I think they pretty much nailed the sounds. And the next two things are crosswind landings. I want to be able to land this airplane in a crosswind and not lose control on touchdown. And I don't know, and I tried all kinds of different rudder sensitivities. I tried all types of different rudder curves. For some reason, maybe it's just my hardware, maybe I don't know what was going on, I could not land this airplane in a crosswind more than 15 knots. And I could land it, but once the nose came down, it was uncontrollable. It would veer off and it would be very, very unrealistic to get the airplane straight on the center line. So that's point of emphasis number 2. I want to make sure we can land in a crosswind greater than 15 knots. Number 3, I want to see... hold off to praise you haven't landed yet. Yeah. Number 3, it kind of goes in the same with that, is the flight model itself, like the power performance, the drag, and things like that. Somebody said, or I think I read on the update, that the nav or the econ descent window should be more accurate now. Before, the Fenix would always drop to the bottom of the econ descent window. I don't know if that's going to be the same case. I don't think it should be. In fact, I could probably pull out the changelog and we'll go over it. We'll do that. We'll go over the changelog here once we level off in cruise. We got about 1,000 feet to go. So let's, but those are kind of the 3 things I'm really looking at, is the flight model changing, which kind of goes hand in hand with the crosswind landing. But it wasn't flying the airplane in a crosswind that was weird. It was just the mechanics of touchdown and nose wheel control. And then, of course, the sounds. They fixed the whole crosswind things. Well, Blue Mac, that makes me very, very excited. Flare logic has changed, rudder behavior, approach idle, and all sorts of... Yes, I did see approach idle mentioned as well. I'm going to pull up this thing. We're going to look at it. We're going to look at the whole thing. Okay, cool. We're going to have to turn photogrammetry back on. I don't know what is going on. That's a U.S. server issue, right? Speaking on econ descent, I heard that FMS2 removes the econ descent. That is absolutely true, Jeremy Harvey. It goes into latch mode. And I wonder how long it's going to last, because... if you think the Airbus doesn't obey speed constraints now, if you try this thing in FMS2, that sucker will overspeed all the way out, all the way down the arrival. So I had the pleasure of using a full FMS2 sim, my last recurrent, and we were just messing around. Cause I need to learn more about this. We were supposed to have them all on our airplanes by now, but a lot of stuff is happening real world, so they've kind of phased out the integration process, or at least the speed at which it was being integrated. I still think it's coming Q1 next year. But so now we have it. It's weird. Our fleet in real life is kind of a hodgepodge. Like, some airplanes have some functions of FMS2. One airplane actually full-blown had it, so that was interesting. My buddy got on airplane. He texted me the other day. He's like, dude, I got a brand new Neo. It's got FMS2 in it. I'm like, oh, really? That's cool. He's like, yeah, but it does all this weird stuff, and we're kind of joking about it. So they have to revert that one. But FMS2 is a different ballgame when it comes to VNAV, and it goes into a latch mode, Jeremy. You lose the econ descent window, but you get a magenta bracket on the altitude over here on this side, and it will go into latch mode. If you get down the map enhancement mod, no, I don't need that. I don't want that. I think this looks plenty good. Plenty good. Nice, easy level off here. That seems smooth. Let's get the seatbelt sign is off. Crossing over. Oh my gosh, this is just beautiful though. The sky colors. The sky. I mean, yes, the ortho, is it the sharpest ortho I've ever seen? No. But the look at the little bit of like brightness haze there on the horizon. This looks so real. I love this sim, man. Love it. What is latch mode? It's the new version of VNav, Jeremy. So it's going to latch on a vertical navigation path to obey altitude constraints, only to omit speed constraints. And when I say omit, it will try to obey the speed, but it won't miss the altitude to obey the speed, if that makes sense. So it's really going to stick on the vertical profile, but you really have to be careful with your speed, and you really got to be managing the energy of the airplane. At least you have to be on top of it. You really got to be on top. If you get caught sleeping, the way it is now, and I don't know if they're going to continue to improve upon this, which I'm sure Airbus will, but the way it is now, it can get really slippery if you're behind the curve on the management of the energy of the airplane. But the latch mode is just a fancy term for VNav, the new VNav. And by latching, it just means, okay, it's locked into this vertical profile now. Best feature of FMS2? I don't even know what the best one is yet. I think there is a vertical profile display on the ND in FMS2, but I think that's an option. I don't know if every airplane is going to get them. So right now, Jeremy, managed, if you remember, we have the econ descent window. So if you have a descent constraint, you go into and you press the managed altitude button up here. So you go into Mach descent or thrust idle descent, whatever it is. You're going to get a window over here, and you're going to get a speed target, or not a speed target. You're going to get an altitude target over here. It's going to be that green diamond, right? That green track diamond. What happens is, if the airplane is high on the descent, what it will do is it will speed up in that econ descent window, but it will not exceed that top bracket. Conversely, the opposite is true. If you're low, it will go to the bottom of the speed bracket, but it will obey the altitude. There's a scenario where that top or bottom of the bracket may not be enough to get the airplane on the proper profile. That's when you have to intervene with either a vertical speed or an open descent, use speed brakes, what have you. Now with FMS2, when it latches on the vertical profile mode, it's going to lock in on that target altitude, and it is going to put the airplane over that waypoint at that altitude. And the window of which it was used to be here is no longer there. So it could potentially keep speeding up if you're high. If you're high on the descent, you got a strong tailwind, it's no longer going to have that, whoa there with the wind shift. It's no longer going to have that econ descent window to stop itself, to limit itself. And I hope that makes a little bit of sense. It basically doesn't limit the speed anymore on the VNav. That looks like a Phoenix bug, the way this is jumping here. This is not, or Microsoft bug. Like, this doesn't happen this fast in real life. Doesn't happen this fast in real life. But everything looks good. Air Dave, howdy, man. Welcome. Logan, I believe the Tolus does have FMS2 in the Neo, and I haven't even tried it yet, so that's something we need to get on. I did an FLS approach in the Neo before, which is pretty cool, in the Tolus, and I did it in the sim as well, in the real world sim. But Tolus does have that coming, which is pretty neat. Jeremy, not necessarily, but that is an option. You could use selected speed, but then you'll get out of latch mode. If my memory serves me right, Jeremy, and I could be wrong, if you go selected speed, I think it will unlatch from the profile. That's the whole point of latch mode. Latch mode is it's locked in. You're latched up. If you go selected speed, you take it out of its vertical profiling and speed and altitude, then it will come off the profile. But I could be wrong, Jeremy, so I have to dig back into that. That's actually some great questions. We could probably get into the 321 Neo and see what Tolus has modeled, and I might be able to have some more information for you. I was having the weird jumps in the PMDG. Yeah, that jumping of the speed tape is not necessarily accurate. All right, I wanted to pull up the changelog real quick. Jeff L., thank you, man, for the kind words. As always, thanks for the epic content. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for your continued support for 4 months. I appreciate you. And Air Dave, thank you for 5 months commercial pilot support as well. You guys are awesome. But I'm glad you're enjoying the content, Jeff. Appreciate you, man. All right, let me pull up this changelog here. It's a really long changelog. I'm not going to go over the whole thing with you, but let me just hit some of the... I'm going to stop at something that I see that's important. Revised ground... This is right off the top of the bat. Revised logic for ground spoiler retraction. They now retract when thrust levers are above 20 degrees, facilitating safe post-bounce go-round. Okay, that's good. I don't know what it was prior to, but that's correct. It should be that way. Tuned auto land. That's interesting. Did we do an auto land before in the Phoenix and it didn't land on centerline? I think we did. So that would be interesting to test out again at some point. Fixed engine idle EWD and associated signals for approach idle segments. That'll be good. We'll see what the power performance is on approach. We'll do the visual approach. We'll turn it off. We'll hand fly the whole thing. Added phase lift dumping support. Partial spoiler extension. We talked about that before. Added drag to flaps 2 and 3 and fixed landing gear drag. So this is interesting. I know they changed it initially with the big fix, right? And then the hot fix was adding drag. So how we're going to test this, the best way to test this out, in my opinion, is we're going to put the airplane 2,000 feet above the touchdown zone at 180 knots in flaps config 2. If I then push manage speed to go down to approach speed, and I push the nose of the airplane over on 3 degrees for visual approach, I should have enough drag with the gear down, with gear down, flaps 2, 180, and select and managing the speed, that it should slow up. We should be able to configure our flaps on time. We'll go flaps 3, flaps full. We should be well stable, which is on target speed by, I'm going to say plus 10, minus 5, plus 10, minus 0, really. And we should be well stable by 1,000 feet. So that'll be the best way we can test. We'll kind of test the whole setup with the drag and the approach idle, because that will also come into play. If the approach idle is too strong, it'd be too slippery. You wouldn't be able to slow up in time. So we're going to test that. That's the best way to do it. We'll see if it meets the window. It doesn't matter if you're in a 19, a 20, a 21, a Neo. Every single Airbus that I've flown, if you fly it that way, flaps 2, 180, when it's time to go down, manage speed, gear down, you should always be configured easily by 1,000 feet. With the asterisk there is, though, on a standard approach, right? 3 degree path. Anything more than 3 degrees, okay, then you might have to back it up a little bit. But on a normal approach, 3 degree path, that should be plenty good for you. So phase 1 says, before the hot fix, it was a struggle to be stable at 1,000. All right, so maybe it was too slick then. Too slippery coming down. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We're getting ready to go over Palm Springs. This is awesome. So I used to do this transition a lot in old 172s. We'd fly out here. We go right through the, what is this? Is this Banning Pass? Is that the name of this up here? Banning Pass? Let me turn the sim down to like 1. Let's see what we got over here in the old tunes while we go over some other stuff here. What do we got? Nope. Nope. Maybe. But that's beautiful, though. Look at that terrain down there. Yeah, I'm looking at the full changelog right now, Porus. I'm kind of going through the changelog, and there's so much there that I'm just kind of picking the parts that I really want to hit on, because I think they'll make a big difference. Let's see. I'm going through it here. Do not, interesting. Do not allow named with slashes as pilots waypoints to prevent invalid entries in new waypoints page. Be treated as new waypoints. Interesting. I'm not quite sure what they're getting at there. Do not. Well, it's just the way they're naming custom waypoints or something in the box. All right. Fixed optimum altitude showing more than certified max altitude. Ooh. Pop quiz chat. What is the certified max altitude of the Airbus in the United States of America? And while you give me the answer, I need to look at the approach chart here just to make sure we don't... I want to make sure our top of descent is correct and we got some altitude constraints, even if we have to manually put them in, so we can test the VNAV. So Pirates at 240, 30 at Porps. Okay, that all looks good. Let's change our perf so we're not riding the limit. We'll make it a little bit easier. We'll do a nice, steady 7.8, 310 knot descent on the plan. That's what we're going to plan. Be good. 398, 389, 389. No. Kyle Longley got it right. Nobody got it right. Blue Mac got it right. 398. And Chisco did too. But yeah, 39.8 is certified max altitude. So you wouldn't want to have an optimum above that. Right now, our recommended max is 38.7. So we're plenty good there. Getting over Palm Springs. That's awesome. All right, let's see what else we got in the changelog here. Yes, you're right, Lauren. Yeah, ACJ is a different breed. Improved auto-land failure logic. That could be interesting. When in nav override mode, the RMP should start in course mode when selecting ILS or VOR. That's interesting. Adjusted range change for baro minimums. Inhibit the engine oil pressure advisory during shutdown. That's pretty good. That was annoying. Fix new waypoint return prompt always going to flight plan A instead of previous page. That's good. That's on an extra click in the McDo. I remember doing that. Getting an extra click. I'm like, why are we doing that? There we go. That's good. They fixed that. Cleaned that up. They cleaned up the box here. Looks like there's a lot of little box cleanups. Matter of fact, speaking of box cleanups, oh, look at this. We're going right over the top. I'm going to put a speed restraint in there. There's Palm Springs, Banding Pass. Man, I've had $1 for every time I went through Banding Pass in a single engine prop. I'd probably have $12. Big Daddy, what's going on, man? Thank you for the $10 super chat. Appreciate you, man. Hey, V1, as always, thanks for the great content. What difference do you see in the sim update 10? Only one I can tell is my sim has crashed on 3 consecutive flights. Whoa. Mr. Daddy, I don't know. Maybe there's something going on with your sim. Maybe there's some add-on conflicting in your community folder. Knock on wood, everything has been pretty stable right now. It's been stable. It's been running smooth. I'm enjoying it. Hopefully, it stays true. We're going to see. I mean, the only way to test it out is to continue to stream here. So we're going to put it through its paces when we start messing around with replay mode and all that as well. So unfortunately, I don't have an answer for you. But so far on my end, it's been pretty smooth. But I would wager to think you probably got some kind of funky non-compliant add-on, possibly. That'd be my first guess. Christy says, got this the other day, descent to 10,000 feet below 30 miles by X waypoint, drew a 30-mile ring. But how do you want to start descent? Just do the math? Yes, do the math, Christy. And let's see, let's add that right now. Let's see, so Porps, so Christy wants to add a constraint. We're going to do that. So Porps is at 300. Oh, it's our 2-waypoint. I don't think we can do that. Now we're already getting behind here. I want to see if I can do it with the fix info. So PORPS. And let's do 50 radius. Are we going to be too close? How close are we to Porps? We're 77. So let's do 50. All right, and then I'm going to hit it again. So watch here. We should be able to put a waypoint on the screen. Boom. There it is. D050 from Porps. Insert. Select heading track first. That's a old software thing. Doesn't do that in real life. Depending on the version of software you have, it's not totally incorrect. But all right, so now I've imported that waypoint. So now let's put an altitude on there. Let's just say cross it at. Say we need to cross it at 32. So I'm going to put slant 320 at this new waypoint, and it won't let me. Oh, it did. Insert. So now, Christy, look, my TOD should move back, but I don't think it is. So, yeah, in the Fenix then, Christy, since I just did it for you here, yes, you need to do the math manually, because see, it's not going to make that constraint. In the real airplane, this TOD would have moved over here. Surely this won't do it, will it? No. All right. Let's bring up the sim. We got to get ready for the TOD anyway. There's a ton of changes in this changelog, but Yeah, that's unfortunately not going to take the new descent. All right, Santa Barbara. Santa Barbara. Let's come down here. Let's get... Actually, before we do that, let's just do it over here. Yeah, Christy, is that easy, man? You just put the waypoint in there, double tip it, it'll give you the waypoint, and it should... like I said, it should have... only 2, 5, or 7 available. So winds are 140 at 5, temperature 22. 140 at 5, 22, and temperature 29 or 9 or 4. That is set. I'm going to put just a autopilot reference 500 in the barrel right now, because we're going to do a visual approach. We have the VOR set, but we're going to do a visual approach. And since it's not going to meet our porps constraint, we'll fly over it. Let's just fly over it when it's fine. And our top of descent weight 138.4. Let's throw that in here. 1384. Enter. Nope. 1. Oh boy. 1384. Enter. Medium. Max reverse, flaps full. Ooh, a spicy meatball. 5,100 feet, so we're going to have to get on the brakes pretty hard. We're going to test out that new brake wear. And actually, if I did dry, look at that. So it's actually, we're fine. But, because it is dry, good weather, this is for runway 25 confirmed. So max reverse, medium brakes. At our weight right now, we're fine. 4,900 feet to stop. We'll see what the, nice and cool down there, only 22C. But we'll see what the brakes do. Yes, Migs, we're going to do... So what I'm going to do is I'm kind of testing the sim as well for stability. So I'm going to... Wow, look at those mountains. I'm going to do a full replay, just like a traditional. We're going to fly in, we're going to land, we're going to do the replay mode, back and forth. I want to stress the sim out here. We're going to do the replay of the normal landing. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reset the aircraft on the runway, do a state load of ready to go, so everything's clean, fresh out of the box. No flight plan, nothing like that. We will do a takeoff. We'll do a crosswind takeoff. We'll start at 15 knots. We'll come back around for a 15-knot crosswind landing. Then we will, if that is successful, which I'm hoping it will, we'll bump it up. We'll straight up double it. We'll go straight to 30 knots. Then we'll go from there. So that's going to be the plan upon touchdown. So we're not going to be done after we land. So make sure you stick around because that's going to be the real testing. But I kind of want to load up the sim too. I want to see if we have any stability issues. Take it easy, Big Daddy. Appreciate you, man. If you really want to stress the sim out, just send it a bunch of bills in the mail. How often do you communicate directly with the flight dispatchers? Pretty rare. Other than my last flight when we had a hold for a while. We were in constant communication, trying to get a different alternate out, save a little bit of gas. But during a normal op, pretty rare. Florida Wings, but when there is something abnormal, whether I'm holding or maybe the airport's going down for weather or maybe I see something on the flight plan that doesn't look good or like maybe we got a glitch in the fuel loading or something like that, then I will contact them. But most of the time, communication is pretty minimal, especially during normal ops. All right, so we're going to set our altitude for... What is that fix called? Pirate at 240. And on the approach itself, VOR 25. Quang was, got to be at least a 3 from Zach, so that's fine. We'll set 24 in the top here, and then we'll just kind of wing it from there. 240 is set. I want to see how it handles this top descent. So we'll start it at exactly 5 prior like we should. We're good to go. Oh yeah, we'll add Gus too. We'll definitely add Gus too. But Florida Wings, speaking about dispatchers, I had a great dispatcher last week. We were flying into Miami. Big weather system moved in. We had a hold. We were holding pretty much over the top of Fort Myers Airport. And, you know, it's obviously an airport we serve. So my alternate was Tampa, which is a little bit further away. Quite a bit further away, actually. So we had the gas to go to Tampa. We had a long EFC time, about an hour. And the weather didn't look like it was improving too quick, so I was kind of communicating. I came up with my bingo fuel number. Me and the FO, we kind of talk about it. We're like, all right, is this good for you? Yeah, that looks good. I send it to the dispatcher. We kind of like, okay, yeah, we agree. This looks good. We're all on the same page. If you hit this number and you're still holding, time to bug out. Then I got to thinking, since we were holding so long, I was like, hey, what do you think about Fort Myers as an alternate? Because I could literally see Fort Myers out of the window as we were holding. It was right below the airplane. And he's like, oh, that's a good idea. Hold on, let me run some numbers. And basically it added 40 minutes of hold fuel just because we changed the alternate. All right, there's 5 prior. Let's go ahead and push for managed. All right, so we got mock descent. Here's our econ descent window down to 240, 5 prior. It should stable at about 1,000 feet per minute here until we intercept the actual descent arrow. There is our intercept point. That's the squiggly line. But yeah, it saved us about 40 minutes hold fuel, and we actually got to hold for about 10 extra minutes, and we got in. So had we not have done that, we might have been getting ready to bug out. We wouldn't have been able to land in Miami. Phase 1 NE. So it's interesting you bring that up, because I swear I used to be able to move the TOD marker. All right, so here comes the top of descent, or not the top of descent, but here's our vertical deviation donut. We're going to intercept. So we're thrust idle. We're staying in the middle of the econ descent window. So right now, Jeremy, this would have a little bracket around it, a little magenta bracket, and you wouldn't have these over here. That would be an FMS2. All right, let's get terrain on ND because it is a high terrain airport. We'll monitor the descent. Everything else looks good. We'll go seatbelt sign on. We've ran our landing data. We're going to do manual brakes. I'm going to try to step on them pretty hard, full reverse. That looks good. As far as the VOR approach is concerned, let's go ahead and hard tune as a backup the Gaviota VOR, which is GVO in the RadNav page. So we put GVO. It's already there. We're going to hard tune it. GVO. Our inbound course on this approach is 279, so we're going to put 279 in the course box. And anything else we can use to help us out. San Marcos is a good cross-reference for the final approach fix, so I'm actually going to hard tune RZS in the second RadNav. And what we can do is we can put the 145 radial in there. So when that needle is centered, we know that we are at the final approach fix. So when this needle is centered, we should be at the final approach fix. And we've got a backup on ours as well. We'll be tracking that inbound. Now, in real life, the the bearing pointers, the VOR pointers, will suffice for backup. You do not have to fly the approach in Rose VOR mode. You do not have to in a normal scenario. Just the pointers themselves here, these VOR pointers themselves, are good enough. Now, we're not picking up VOR 1 because it's behind the terrain, so that's pretty cool to see that. Terrain mask. We're at the bottom of the descent window here again. That's not really accurate in most cases. I'm not saying it's impossible, but this is what it used to do all the time. I thought they changed that, or I thought I read that in there, but it looks like we're back to following the bottom of the descent bracket. We're approaching, we're mock descent, we're doing weird things with the engine power. See how it's spooling up now to get back into the econ window? Interesting. We'll keep an eye on it. The terrain brightness knob is off too? Oh my goodness. That's why we didn't see any terrain out of Phoenix. No, I turned mine up. No, I didn't. Wow. There we go. That's... Yep. Oh boy. Yep. They obviously don't watch this channel because it's like... That had been my pet peeve for years. That and no fixed info page on the Flight Factor was like, why do I have to turn up my modern LED screen? Are they LEDs now? No, they're are they LEDs? They're not LEDs. What's the name? What's the name of the modern displays, guys? You guys know this. I'm drawing a blank. It's my RSV brain. I've watched a lot of Blippi the last few days with my little girl, so my adulting part of my brain is really hurting. LCD, thank you. Liquid crystal displays, thank you. I don't believe are they OLED? No, they're not CRTs. CRTs are the old ones. Those are the ones that did suffer from burn through. So if you had a CRT screen, that was part of the procedure. You would turn them off. It was the thing that you would do because you could get a possible burn through. And what burn through means is that when the screen is on, you could possibly see some ghosting images of something else, and it could make it hard to read. So that was the whole reason behind turning the screens off. But with LCD screens now, you don't need to do it. I mean, you could leave them on full bright all day long, every day until the bulbs go out in 10, 20, 30 years, and you would not have a burn through issue. So I don't know why Phoenix decided to go back to that, because these are not CRT monitors. These are not CRT displays. So yeah, we're still right in the bottom of that descent window. Still right in the bottom of the descent window. So we've got a little bit of a quartering headwind. I'm not saying it's, like I said, I'm not saying it's impossible. Although highly unlikely that we'd be sitting that low this whole way down. CRT screen flickered like crazy. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's still some CRTs flying. There's quite a few actually at United. Quite a few Airbuses with CRT screens and EIS-1 software. Definitely still a thing. Way too old for OLED. The cathode ray tube, yep. Maybe because you didn't load winds? No. Nah, it's only 10 knots. I don't think that's going to make a difference. And history wind, ground wind, we're fine. It's going to meet the restriction, though, so I just think the top of descent's off, or I don't know. There's something mathematically going on there. Because it shows, I go perf, we're 7.8, 310. Yeah, it is what it is. Let's level at 24, and then we're going to make another waypoint restriction. We're going to set Quang, which is over here. We're going to set Quang at 5,000, we're going to make it up. But I want it to go into out mode first. So we're speed out star. Once this goes away from star, we're going to go right into, we're going to make it. Look at this terrain, though, coming up. How beautiful is this? How have we never done Santa Barbara? You guys are going to love this approach. I'm already loving this approach. Look at this. All right, there's out. So now let's put a restriction down here at Quang. Let's go flight plan. And we're going to do Quang. It's going to be steep. Let's do it at 7. I just want to see if I can get the airplane to not fly the bottom of the window. So there's Quang at 7. How low are we? Or high? We're 27 feet high. We need drags. Let's go speed brake mode. Speed brakes out. We're going to get down. This is pretty true to real life, too. You come in high here all the time. So speed brakes out. We're diving down to get it. Let's see if we can get on path here. We're 2,800 feet high. We're going to see if the airplane will do it. And let me get flight recorder up as well. So now we're at the top of the bracket. That's good. We're catching up to the profile. We were 29094, so let's go ahead and push. Set 29094. 29094. 29094 is set. We're at the top of the bracket. We're holding. We may not actually catch up. We'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens. We're coming down. Love that little break in the spoid brakes there. Christy, so when you flew in Europe, it was at the top of the bracket and needed drag the whole way down? Interesting. I just don't know if we'll catch it in time. Come on, baby. It says we will. It says we'll catch it in 10 miles. Yeah, it's gonna be it's a steep ass. We're gonna be. I'll tell you what. Let's test something else out. I'm gonna go autopilot off. And we're going to see if we get more speed brake deflection, number one. So autopilot off. There we go. Look, now the speed brakes are coming up even further. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so now I'm hand flying, though, so you got to be on it here. So let's stay on the flight directors. Oh, yeah, now we're catching up to it. Look at that. Now we're coming down. 6,000 feet a minute. Hello. If you have infants on board, they are screaming right now. There's 900 feet till we capture. 750. Oh, we got to slow it at 10 at 250 too. All right, here it comes. So level, nice and easy. All right, let's keep the that off. We're gonna go autopilot 1 back on. Let me get the Chinese speed brakes out there as well. We don't have any ATC, so we'll turn on all the lights. I mean, I don't know if that was just the nature of this descent or what, but I don't know. We'll have to. Inconclusive. The results of this were inconclusive. All right, we're selected speed 250. Let's activate and confirm the approach phase. We got a VDEV brick here because we got a GPS overlay. So theoretically, if I went app, roach, look at that. Speed final app, stow the brakes. Let's come back to 210. I do like that. That is very, very good Fenix here because we have a GPS overlay and I can actually get into final app here outside of Quang, which is pretty cool. So we'll put the VOR2 up here to monitor, number 2. We'll see. That'll give us a idea if we're at the final approach fix as a backup. I'm going to ride some more speed brake out. Let's go ahead and get tiller cam online. But now we're actually on the vertical profile. We're slowing down, and look at that absolutely stunning scenery. Man, we need to do some hops out of Santa Barbara. We might do the next stream out of Santa Barbara too. Yes, Phase 1 NE. We're going to have to do LA. Maybe we'll do Santa Barbara, LA. That's a pretty short flight. So with final app selected, we can really just set our go-around altitude, which is 4,000 feet. So we'll set 4,000, going altitude is set. We're right at VFE next -10. Let's extend flaps 1, pop those slats out. This typically doesn't help you slow down. Oh, I hear the engine's thrusting up. That's approach idle coming up. Good to see that. That's approach idle. Nice simulation there. I actually heard the engine's thrust up. But flaps 1 is actually going to hurt me here a little bit. I'm going to come all the way back to 180. If I can get flaps 2 out, we'll really start slowing down. I want to try to be stable here so we can do our flaps 2 180 test at 1,000 feet. Our touchdown elevation is right at sea level, 13 feet. So 2,000 feet on the window, we should be looking good. And is there anybody else flying in Santa Barbara? Santa Barbara traffic, Cactus 357 on about a 15-mile final for 25 Santa Barbara. So right now, this feels pretty realistic. I can't get below my next flap speed because flaps 1 is out. I got approach idle. And I'm going to turn off tiller cam right now because I keep pointing over here. So this is actually pretty realistic. This is a situation that can burn you in real life. I can't get to my next flap speed. That's why you don't really go flaps 1 unless you absolutely need it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go autopilot off, full speed brake to get below this VFE next segment here. That extra speed brake now with the flaps coming full out. Look, now I can get below it. All right, now let's go flaps 2. Now this is really going to help us start to come down and slow down here. So still on that vertical profile. Look at the trend arrow. Trend arrow's coming back down nice and easy. Oh, don't thrust up on me. Let's go back to autopilot 1. We're coming back down. Let's see, now we're high. Now watch this. Same high. We're high, but watch. With flaps 2, we should be able to catch up on it. And we're catching up on it right here. So I like seeing that. All right, we're flaps 2, 180. We're going to ride this puppy in. Just thrusting up a little prematurely there. Really should dial in that vertical deviation. But we're looking good now. Speed brakes are coming down. Beautiful. That felt very good. That felt very realistic. That struggle that you just witnessed me happen there, like with flaps 1, I had a lot of lift out there. Couldn't get the airplane to slow down to that next VFE speed. We were still high. Pop off the autopilot. Get some more drag out there with the extension of the speed brakes to full. Get below your speed, your flap extension speed. Get flaps 2 out. Now she's going to start to slow down on you a little bit more where you can get it in the window. That's part of the finessing of the Airbus that it kind of takes a little bit of practice. But I tell you, from a real world standpoint, that felt very realistic. The whole way that that whole situation played out, very realistic. Okay, so this is what we're going to do for our plan for landing is we are going to be flaps 2, 180. We're selected speed. Gear is up. At 2,000 feet, I'm going to manage the speed. And we'll drop the gear, and we should be stable by 1,000 feet, no problem. We're getting ready to cross our final approach fix. Look, we've got it backed up here with our VOR2. As soon as this needle is centered, we know we're right over the final approach fix, which we can verify is Zach's intersection. Looking good. Should be at 2,100 feet on profile. Looks like we're a little bit high, at or above 2,100, so we're fine. But I'm going to take it all the way down to a 2,000 feet, and then we're going to manage the speed, drop the gear. And I'm going to start the recording now. So we're a little bit offset as well, so you're going to see me do a little bit of offsetting.
2,500.
Radio altimeter alive. Look at this view, though. No auto brakes. We're going to get on the brakes hard because I want to see the brake simulation. Temperature simulation, excuse me. All right, here comes 2,100 feet. Ready? There's 2,000 right now. Manage speed. Gear down. Autopilot's off. Flight director's off. Give me the bird. Give me the birds in chat. 3 degrees. I'm going to start. I can see the runway. So I'm going to start coming out to the right here. And now we're just going to configure on speed. There's VFE next, -10, flaps 3. Should have armed the spoil brakes as well. Speed's still coming back. We're at a 3-degree path. Tails on the horizon. VFE next, -10, flaps full. Keeping that 3-degree path coming down. Now we're going to get a little bit off on the... that VDEV shouldn't be there, I don't think, anymore, if I'm not mistaken. That VDEV should go away when I turn the flight directors off. All right, 1,000 feet. We are stable. Look at that, +10. A little bit excessive on the descent rate, but there we go. That's our 10-knot tailwind. 1,000 feet, stable. I can see the runway. I'm going to swing out a little bit wide here. Let's go ahead and disconnect the auto thrust as well. Match and mash. Wait, we got a nice tailwind. 8 knots. Jeez.
100 above.
Runway's in
500.
sight. 2 whites, 2 reds. Quartering tailwind. This is the worst case scenario. But it's good for our brake temperature simulation. Ooh, the drag feels good here at flaps full. 50% on the EPers as a starting point. Right on speed, 140 knots. 2 whites, 2 reds. We're looking good. Quartering tailwind. Not good. 7, 8 knots there, right at the edge of our limit. Ooh, she feels like she wants to drop out on me there. I like that. I'm liking this feeling.
100.
Don't overjuice it there. Overjuiced it a little bit.
50.
Work it back.
40. 30. 20. Retard. 5.
Spoilers. We hit that. Whoa! We hit a ramp or something. What was that? We hit a ramp or something in the runway. I'm on the brakes hard, 70 knots. I'm just going to stand on them here and see if I can heat them up a little bit. So other than, man, that was going to be really nice. I think that intersecting runway kind of launched us. That's the nose drop bug. Interesting. Oh, is my photogrammetry? I thought it was back on. Let's clear out here to the left. Frozen hard butter. That nose really fell down. We're going to analyze the replay, though. What we'll do... Oh, he's on short final, so let's just go ahead and we'll clean it up. Let's get straight here. We'll taxi back to the ramp. We'll see his landing. I was going to say we'll just do the replays here, but let's clean it up before we do our crosswind testing. I can see him out there. He looks high already. Let's go flaps 0. Leave our lights on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Santa Barbara. I believe I do have the Orbix, Duffman. I believe this is Orbix SBA. That was a minus 335. The nose, like, super drop, but I thought we hit a bump in the runway. We'll analyze the replay. It felt great until moments after touchdown. Leonardo, because it's more fun to hand fly, man. That's the only reason. More fun to hand fly it. It's just an airplane. Picking up my... Did he go around? Where's that traffic at? I don't see him. I lost him on the display. Let's see. Brake temps. They're creeping up. They're creeping up. So I think, aren't we supposed to park over here? I missed the turn. Or no, it's over here. Right? Turned around. Yeah, terminal is on this side. We'll go the right way. I don't know. Traffic. He got ripped to the traffic. I assume you have the hotfix installed? Yeah, damn ready. Have the hotfix installed. Hotfix is installed. Latest update. Temps are coming up. 215. I mean, it is 22C outside. Let's see. By the time we get to the gate, we'll see. That'll be a better assessment. We're crossing the runway without lights. I guess we're not going to watch him land. It's too high. And we'll cross. I'm actually gonna do this. I'm gonna kind of ride the brakes a little bit here intentionally. Yes, Blue Mac, this is a payware airport. Coming around about. Love the low idle sounds though. That listen to that. Ooh, sounds so good. So good on the sounds. Ooh, I like the Phoenix in the headrest too. All right, where are we parking? Right here. Oh, we missed him land. I didn't even see him land. The stealth plane. I know we got all our lights on, but. Alright, I see blue down there. We're not going to worry with GSX on this taxiing, because we're going to do our crosswind test next. All right, brakes are set. How are we looking at temps? Brake temps are 235, 240. You know, it's 22C outside. I believe it. I believe it. I don't think they'd be super hot yet. I wasn't really on them the whole way down. We used to reverse pretty deep into that. All right, let's go ahead and disconnect from VATS-in. And let's do just like we always do. So we're going to test all the stability. We're going to go full flaps here on the flaps, and we're going to go into replay mode. We'll analyze that touchdown. Then we're going to reset crosswind takeoff, crosswind landing, and if there's a bump in this runway, to give Phoenix a fair shake, we'll just go to it. We'll go to our standard testing airport. Matter of fact, we might do it anyway. St. Martin is where we tested it before. We should probably test it there again. So let's go ahead and resume. Replay. Here's our landing. Absolutely beautiful terrain coming in here. Grabs the crosswind testing designated popcorn. Should we do crosswind testing in St. Martin or here? Because that's the last time we did it. We did it in St. Martin. It's a default airport. There's probably less variables there. Aaron, they seemed okay. They were about 250 when we got to the gate, 240, something like that. I wasn't on the brakes as hard as I could have been, so I don't know. Inconclusive still, Aaron. I'm going to try it. I'll tell you what, though. We will smash them in St. Martin. So we'll do a brake test in St. Martin as well. Matter of fact, that'll be the first test. How about we do that, folks? How about we do an RTO? We'll do an RTO, St. Martin. I'm going to bump up the temp, make it super hot. We'll do an RTO first to do a brake temperature test. Just for consistency. I like that. Yeah, more it's standard. So let's enjoy this replay here. So we're coming in. Let's zoom it forward a little bit. I just want to let's get to the juice. I gotta say, up until right after touchdown, it felt very, very good. I mean, I can feel that tailwind acting on the airplane. The drag felt good at flaps full. You know, I definitely had to have more power in than before. Drag felt good. The whole debacle being a little bit high and fast on the profile with flaps 1 felt perfect. Really enjoyed that. Let's see what happened here on the touchdown. So quartering tailwind is probably the most challenging wind to land in. So we're coming down. Need a little bit more flare. Maybe we just bounce or... Oh, what is that? What? So I was basically pretty full aft. Not full aft, but I was aft on the stick pretty good. It just like the wheels came off the ground again. Interesting. Interesting. I wonder if there's something on the runway there, though. Like, that doesn't seem legit. Like, just have that wheel come down and be good, and then that happened. Last second gust? No, it wouldn't. That wheel wouldn't be coming off. So, like, if I do it properly, if I arm the speed brake so you can see what happened here in replay. So we'll watch it. We'll come down. So right there, spoilers are up. It wouldn't just leap into the air like that. We'll see. We'll see in St. Martin. Full stick deflection and the plane plopped and bounced. Yeah, I felt like I was pretty aft on the side stick. You'd have to actually watch the replay itself to see what my hand position was, but I'm pretty positive. There's no way I didn't push it forward that much. All right, let's just watch one from the wing view here because it's beautiful, and then we're going to go to do our testing. It is like an invisible bump. Gear contract, like maybe the gear spring, maybe it could be something with the gear. We did hit right on those runways, those crossing runways. But man, how beautiful does that look, though? Can confirm you've hit invisible bumps before? Yeah. I'm gonna chalk it up to an invisible bump for now. But let's do this. We'll go ahead and we're gonna stop the replay. So I'm gonna go back in here. We're gonna stop. I'm gonna reset my thrust levers. Let's do all this. Let's go ahead and let's reload the sim. So we're gonna go here. I'm gonna close replay out. And let me just do a new flight. So let's commence the testing. So end menu, let's do this here. And let's do it. To be fair, Santa Barbara is also a bit of a tactical landing situation. You're very correct, Stephen. You're very correct. We're going to revisit Santa Barbara for sure because I love flying in there. So we're going to come back to that. Maybe the next stream we'll take off out of there or something. And but we're going to get to the bottom of this. So we're going to do this like we did last time. I'm going to go straight up Phoenix livery. We're going to go to Saint Martin where we commence our testing purposes. So right off the bat, let's do that's our departure. Runway 10. Boom. Flight conditions. We'll adjust it when we get in the sim. What we're going to do, we'll do an RTO first. So I know it doesn't get this hot in St. Martin, but we're going to jack up the temps to like, I don't know, probably 110. We'll be a heavy, and then we'll just we'll do an RTO. We'll see what the brakes do. And then we'll do our crosswinds. Because I think brake temperature simulation is just as important as a nice crosswind as well. Maybe not just as important, but it is a big factor when it comes to flying the Airbus. Brake temperatures are an issue on the Airbus. So we're gonna check it out. MIGs for sure. I think that'd be a good idea. All right, so here we are. Back in the Phoenix. Why are we not? Interesting. Will my Phoenix app close? Let me reboot this here. All right, app is up. Starting Phoenix, cool. There we go. I hear sounds now. Cool. All right, we're good. Crisis averted. So while the airplane comes to life, let's do this. We're gonna go not live weather. And we can just leave the winds pretty much nil, but let's bump this temperature up. 116. 114. Summer in Phoenix. Density altitude 2. Let's do 30. 12. Let's do humidity of 4%. Okay. Let me hit the barrel ref key. ECAM is showing 46C. Good grief. That's excessive, right? No, that's actually pretty good. Okay, so we're going to come back into the Phoenix app. Let me reset. Brake and brake is set. And let's do some weight and balance real quick. Ground services first. Let's go ahead and pull that. And I want to manually set this, so oh yeah, here we go. I got to click on that. Let's do full passengers. 9 tons of cargo. 23,000 pounds of fuel. Gross weight is 157. Let's make it even higher. 160,000 pounds. Shoot, let's make it 164. It's a pretty good gross weight right there. 164. That's pretty good loaded 320. So that is set. We're going to load instantly. Boarding is complete. We're on the edge. We're on the limits of all of our stuff. And to be completely perfect, let's get our speeds. Sync load sheet final and calculate. Oh. 0 for 0 is 0, 0. Enter. Temperature is 46. Altimeter, what did I say? I don't know. 29er. 9 it doesn't really make a difference. Let's just see what it gives me. What? Oh, TNCM. Runway 10, dry, optimum. Let's see what it gives us here. Optimum force Toga. Why won't it give me any speeds? There we go. 32, 51, 51. There we go. Flaps 1. We're not going to come back and land on this, Duffman. We're not going to land on this. So, our VR is 150. So, at 140 knots, I'm going to manually reject the takeoff. Are you guys ready for this? We don't need lights or anything, so let's just go takeoff config and signs. Ooh, predictive wind shear on the ECAM. That's nice. Cool. All right, brakes released. This is our brake temperature simulation number 1. So right now, to confirm, nice and cool. 15C on the brakes. It's 46 outside. This is like simulating a departure from Las Vegas a couple weeks ago. It's absolutely miserable. Let's keep an eye on our EGTs as well. I'm going to abort the takeoff at about 140 knots. Yoga. Alright, man, Toga SRS out. Everything is armed up. Cool. Look at those EGTs. 900. I like that. I like seeing that. Slow acceleration. We might not have enough runway. Actually, 131. So right here. Abort. Reject. Reverse green. Decel. That was pretty much at V1. 70 knots. Auto brakes max. That was pretty sweet. All right. Set the brakes. They're climbing. They're climbing. We still had 300 feet to go. We had our additive. That was a pretty good V1 calculation. 131 knots was V1. I don't know what I was thinking about saying I was going to board it at 140. But there's 1,000 footers, so yeah, about 800. That doesn't seem right. These are 150 feet apart, right? So 100, 300, maybe 450, 600. Yeah, about 600 feet to go. So right now they're climbing. They would be climbing much faster, especially with the brakes set. This would already be at hot brakes. In real life, be about 300C, 350 probably right now. I'd say these are about a third of the speed at which they would climb. You do an RTO at 46C at 167,000 pounds, these puppies are going to be hot. Looks like they climb slowly. Okay, so maybe it's just a rate of which they accelerate. Got to give it a while. Okay, so maybe that's I don't know if that's a Microsoft thing. But yeah, see, they're just climbing way too slow. Matter of fact, they're climbing too slow for me to even want to sit around and wait, because I can tell you that's not very realistic. Whether or not they get to a realistic level to be TBD, but they don't climb fast enough for me to even sit there and wait for it. They'd be well over 400 at this point, especially with the parking brake set. Could you cook eggs on them? You could burn the eggs on them, man. You vaporize them. All right, let's go back. Same thing, St. Martin. We're going to do fresh airplane, fresh brakes, and then we're going to do our crosswind testing now. So this is where it's really going to get spicy. But cool. I mean, good V1 calculation there by the perf calculator. Good abort, good auto brakes, got to stop, plenty of room. Good maintaining directional control. I forgot to do my flight attendant stations call out, but so far I'll give that a 50% pass. So I guess it didn't really pass if it's 50%. What are the fuse plugs rated at the 320? I do not know a numerical value. I've seen them well over 500 though. I think around that 550 mark things start to happen. All right, let's reset weather and everything. So let's go make sure our wheels are nice and cool, right? Wheels are cool. Wheels are back to 15C. So now let's go to our weather. Let's turn this off and let's do wind. So ground, how do we adjust? All right. Mean ground level or this one here? I want to do the whole thing. I want one steady wind. Okay, all the way up to 6,000 feet. That's fine. We'll just put it up to 10,000. Oh, that's clouds. What am I doing? No. Sorry, guys. Wrong one. I don't care about clouds. Add wind layer. Here we go. So we'll do winds all the way up to 4,000 and winds at ground. So here we go. We'll do winds directly out of the east, right? 090 degrees. And we'll start at 15. Actually, we'll start at, yeah, we'll do 15 knots. 15 knots. And no gusts. No gust on this one. 0 gust. All right, so 15 knots out of the east. Zero. Done. Okay. That is set. 15 knots. Winds are set. Let's go ahead and close that out of the way. And outside air temperature is 15C. We are flaps config 1. We're going up to 3,000 feet for pattern work. Can you show us rudder sensitivity settings? So just to verify, let's look at our... Oops, that's not what I wanted. Let's go general options. And the same setting... Nope. Options, controls. And let's look at our crosswinds. Ironically named crosswinds. Oh yeah, wrong direction for a wind. I gotta change the direction. Crosswinds. So right now, this is the same curvature I've had to keep the about 39% to keep the nose. That's what it used to take to keep the nose straight. So I need to change the direction of the wind. So how do I mess that up? Direct crosswind is 180. 180. 180. Thank you. We'll do both wind layers. 180. Done. All right. Because there's no update yet, Ari. All right, so we got winds out of the south, going up to 3,000 feet. No V speeds. It's going to yell at us. Doesn't matter. Let's just go. Nope. Hold the phone. We're going to shoot out of here and pull the chocks. Hiya! Shot out of a cannon. Let's go. Alright. Toga, let's go. So, a little bit spicy. Won't judge that takeoff roll just yet. Positive rate, gear up. Into the wind we go. Auto thrust off. Flight director's off. Give me the bird. 180 knots. Let's go start the turn. Bring the power back. Climbing into the wind is good here. Cabin pressure fault, that's normal. Well, not normal, but I guess we don't have any stuff in the box. We'll just take it at 2,000. We don't need to go all the way up to 3. We'll take it at 2,000. We'll set up for a landing on Saint Martin. Look at the water down there. Looks awesome. 2,000 feet, level of nose. We'll bring it around. About 260 on the heading. How we looking? Make sure we're parallel. A little bit of a crab. Looking quite good. You went here for a honeymoon 2 weeks ago? Awesome. Well, congratulations on getting married. But yeah, I do need to get back to St. Martin. Love to get over to St. Martin. So we don't really have a perf approach speed. Yeah, 120 VAP. So I'm gonna just bug 120, and we'll add. We'll do 125. We'll bug 125 for a little wind. We'll see how it looks by the time we get down there. I'm gonna extend out here just a little bit longer so we have a nice stable final. Let's go flaps 2. Turn it over, push the nose down, gear down, arm the speed brakes. Can you show the runway on the ND? Yeah, what I'll do is I'll have to set on the next one here, I'll set up the box so we can actually have a runway center line. I'm just kind of winging it right now. Probably going to overshoot. Yeah, we got to keep coming around. And I'll put up the tiller cam so you can monitor my inputs. Let's go flaps 3. 125 knots. Looks like it's going to be about right. We'll go flaps full. 1,000 feet, get a little bit low. Let's just level off. Actually, we're right on it. Looking good. All right. Here comes the correction for the crosswind. So right now, we're showing 26 knots. I thought I only had 15 knots, but right now we got 25 knots direct crosswind. So this is actually much more aggressive than I was anticipating. We'll keep an eye on it for touchdown. But this is, by all means, this is a doable crosswind landing. That flight path vector, I don't remember seeing it that far over. I guess it's right. Monitor the speed here. About 130, seems even a little bit more control here. We're going to bleed that off. 22 knots, direct crosswind. Ocean is rough. Didn't start the replay. Hold on. we need to see the replay. That's the whole point of this. Flight recorder client. There we go. Recording is on. Sorry. All right, ready? Go. Unpause the sim. Right on speed. We got 19 knots on the nose. 19 knots on the nose. I'm sorry, on the crosswind. Looking good.
50.
All right, let's start working that out.
30, 20, retard.
Oh my gosh.
Retard.
No, let's go around. Let's go around. There's like no response there. Positive rate, gear up. Let's try this again. Let's stop that recording. We gotta do that again. I don't know what the hell that was. In the turn, let's go. Flight director's off. Give me the birds. What's interesting, though, that almost felt similar to Santa Barbara, where I was pulling back on the stick, and I really didn't have... It's almost like there was no more authority. But we should have had plenty of authority. I'm going to come in a little bit faster. Let's bug like 127. It just feels like it loses your flying ability, or your flying authority. Let's try it again. Let's try again. We're looking good. We're on speed, 200 flaps, 2,000. Let's just do this real quick. TNCM, as we're flying outbound. TNCM. Alright, there's our center line fix. Let's do this. Flaps 2, gear down. Keep knocking my thrust lever up. Let's try it again. I have no opinion yet, because I don't know if that was pilot error, lack of pilot skill, Microsoft being Microsoft, or not being correct. So, still have no definitive answer. I'm just configuring here, no set schedule. So it's right about 15 to 18 knots crosswind when we came over the numbers. So the winds are okay, and there's a direct crosswind from the right. We're going to try it again in flaps full. You could do a flaps 3 here, but I mean, there's, with no gust, like, there's really nothing shouting flaps 3, flaps 3. You could easily accomplish this in the Airbus in flaps full. So let's try it again. Well, helps if you know where the runway is. I did better before I drew the center line fix. That's right. Gotta say, water looks awesome, though. I wonder if we should have the auto thrust on. You know what? Just to simulate our... No, we'll do it without the auto thrust. The next one we'll use auto thrust. Alright, let's get on center line here. Establish our crab.
500.
500 feet, we're stable. Gears down, flaps are full. On speed. It bleeds off. It's kind of cool how the wind is actually bleeding off. So it's about 25 knots up there in the pattern, and then it bleeds off slowly. You have to constantly adjust your crab angle, which is very realistic.
$100. 50.
Start working it out.
40,
Too low
30,
terrain.
Start getting the
20,
back pressure in there. Straighten her out.
Retard.
What?
Retard.
Interesting. Alright. Let's go around. Whoa! Go around flaps. Positive rate, gear up. It's like there's something, it's almost like there's a bubble of something when you get close to the ground. I'm going to leave the auto thrust on this one, guys. Let's go auto thrust on. Bug 180. I'm going to, now this is, I'm going to do a control adjustment change here. I'm going to reduce the curves in my side stick because what I feel is happening is I'm trying to put in an input and I'm not getting a response from the airplane. So that's just what I feel. Let me adjust this so that you can see here. So I've got 1440. Let's just go ahead and knock these. Let's knock these out. Let's do like, let's just come all the way down. Shoot, let's just do 0, right? Let's do 0 curves. Let's see if that has anything to do with it. We're going to go 0 the curves. So we're going to go completely linear. Pitch and roll, okay? Let's go back. I had a 14 and a 10. Let's see if we can change it. We're not going to change the wind. I'll leave the auto thrust on. I don't think that's going to make much of a difference this time. This time I'm really going to focus on the stick inputs. So the only variables we're changing is the stick inputs here are going to be a 10%, are going to be completely linear, and we're going to keep the auto thrust on. I don't want to try flaps 3 because that could change it, but there's no reason that you couldn't land an Airbus at flaps full at a 15-knot crosswind. Absolutely no reason at all. So I don't want to start changing config just yet. We'll see what happens. What I will say is I didn't have that weird, like I'm not dancing on the rudders to maintain centerline anymore. Like where we thought that the nose wheel was taking over when the airplane was still flying. Like I'm not getting that anymore, which is good. But I'm getting this weird lack of control response from the airplane in the flare, low level. Alright, we're going to rear flaps 2, 180. Let's go ahead and start coming down. And what do we got for a VREF here now? Activate, confirm. So 119. So I'll actually bug. We'll give ourselves a few extra knots. 120. Let's just stick with about 125. Gear down, arm speed brakes. Let's come around. Flaps 3. It deleted your weights? Yeah, it's alright. Weights are the last of my concern right now. Alright, so we're bugged 125. Same wind, same flap config. Let's really focus on this one.
1,000.
So on this one, I'm not going to work out the crosswind correction until later. I'm going to actually kind of bring this one down crab much further, because normally right about 50, 40 feet, you start to work out that crab angle, especially at pretty steep crab angles like this, because you don't want to just mash the rudder right before touchdown. But I feel like as soon as I start adding that left rudder to straighten out the crab is when I have the issues. So I'm going to keep the crab in longer this time, and we're going to start the recording right now. So we're going to actually record this one. Recording is up. We'll take this one to a full stop. We're going to see it all play out here. Auto brakes are off. Actually, let's go auto brakes. Let's go auto brakes low, just like in real life here. A strong crosswind. Auto brakes are going to help you keep the brakes evenly
500.
cooled. So we've got the auto brakes on. Auto thrust is on. We're going to carry this crab a little bit further now. I can't get over how the crosswind bleeds off. You have to adjust the crab angle. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, 2 whites, 2 reds.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 10. 5.
There we go. Okay. Manual brakes, I'll get on them manually. Very good nose wheel control. They've definitely fixed that. That's good. Okay, so I wonder, let's take a look at the replay. Maybe the curvatures on the stick that I've had are what was causing the issues. So let's take a look at the replay here. And to verify what we just found out, we're going to amp up the winds even further. And I'm going to leave everything else the same. We're just going to amp up the winds. I mean, this was very controllable. This felt much better. Let's analyze it outside. Look at that crab, huh? Working it out, working it out. Get that wing down. More right on. Now that wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. See, when the nose touched down, though, much easier to control. Much, much easier to control. So I wonder, let's try it again. So here we go. Let's stop the replay. Stop the replay. Resume flight. I wonder, you think we can take off from here? I think we can do it. You think we can take off from right here? Probably not. Let's, hell. Let's go for it. We're light enough. Flap straight. Godspeed. So what I'm going to do on this one is I'm actually going to reduce the curve on my rudder too. Come on, baby. Hold that tail strike pitch attitude. That's a short field takeoff in an Airbus. Alright. We rolling. So we're going to bump up the winds now. We are super light. So we got 2 more tests. I'm going to do the same exact test. A little bit more wind. But I'm going to reduce... Oh, and then Toga here. I'm going to reduce the curve on my rudder even a little bit more. And we're going to see. And then after that one, the conclusive test is we're going to put it all the way up to a limit. And then we're going to initialize a little bit heavier aircraft. And we're going to do a full-blown, like, max crosswind test. No, I'm still flaps, dude. There we go. All right. Thank you, Christy. I'm working on my Barry Seal limitation there. And gust chaos. So this approach here, we got 2 approaches left. We're going to do this approach, everything the same, except I'm going to turn up the crosswind and I'm going to reduce the curve on my rudder. If this is a successful test, then we're going to actually reset the airplane, initialize heavier gross weights. Going to max out the crosswind. We're going to add a gusty condition, and then we're going to see if it's possible to land. We'll actually just recreate. We'll just recreate a scenario that I land at probably my worst crosswind scenario that I've been in. So everything else is good. I'm going to bug. What are we at? We'll just bug 167. That's fine. Reset U. Auto thrust on. Speed. Auto thrust. Cool. So let's do this here. Let's go back to controls options. So I've got to say, if you guys are following my suggestions on the side stick and using the curves here, so far, get rid of those 14% curves that we've had on them for the Fenix. Get rid of those curves. Because right now, you could see it straight linear, and it actually worked really, really good. So let's go ahead and dial out some of these curves on the crosswinds. I've got 39. I'm just going to drop them back to like, let's do like 15. All right. I don't want to take them all the way out. Let's do like 15. All right. Phase 1, you have your MFGs at 15? Cool deal. So let me see. We'll see how this works out. We're real tight in here. Let's see if we can. Let's see if we can do this. Let's start lowering the nose, gear down. We're gonna bug same thing. We'll do 120 now because we are getting lighter. And this is one of the hardest conditions. You know, we are a super light 320. We have a pretty stiff crosswind, so this is no easy task. There is some level of skill that needs to be there, and I'm not saying I'm the best pilot out there. So this could be improved upon. This definitely can be improved upon with just having some right skills, but I'm just trying to, you know, I don't think I would crash it like we did in Santa Barbara. But I really think it has something to do with that curve on there. Oh yeah, increase wind. I tell you what, let me increase the wind after I make this turn, or else we will probably stall.
Speed, speed, speed.
Oh, listen to that call out. We're going to go to Alpha Floor? I want to see what happens here. If I pull up on it, I bet we do. Watch this. What?
Speed, low, speed, speed.
Oh, are we below the Alpha
Too
Floor
low,
window?
terrain.
We might be. Alright, we're back on
Too
it.
low, speed, speed.
Why are we so slow? Alright. Let's adjust the wind now. I don't know what that's all about. Back. Wind. Do 25. Oh, and I can feel it. Alright, so 25 is added. So we're 36 knots now. 36 knots.
500.
Config full. We're stable. Auto brakes low. Spoilers armed. Look at this crap. You can barely see the freaking airplane now. Or the runway. 36 knots now coming across. A little bit high, correcting. If we miss the touchdown zone, that's fine. I'm not here for touchdown zone. We're here just for control of the airplane, really. So let's not get too focused on that. All right, here we're 100 feet. We're looking good.
40.
Keep it coming down.
30. 20.
Working out that
Retard.
crab. A little bit of back pressure. Oh, man. Get that wing down. Oh. A little bit of, I'm using left rudder to keep center line like you would be in real life because the airplane's trying to weather vane to the right. This is why you keep the auto brakes on in a strong crosswind. It really helps with the uneven heating. That, oh my gosh, I didn't have the recording on. That, though, was good. Okay. Curves are no-nos. Curves are no-nos. So, the final test. Let's reset the sim. This will be the final test. We're going to go, we're just going to end this flight. I'm going to get a brand new airplane. We're reconfigured here, throttle cam. We're going to go back to flaps 1. We are going to bump it up to basically recreate my worst crosswind scenario, which was a little over 40 knots, moderately loaded. And it was in Dallas, but we're going to do it in St. Martin for the, just for purposes here. So set as departure. Fly. Curves removed, Aaron Hayes. Yeah, dude, I'd pull them back. I'm going to keep that 15 on the rudder right now. If it gets funky on this one, then I might consider removing it. But as I can tell you from what we've just tested, get rid of the curves on your joystick for sure. Get rid of those. You don't need those. And reduce them on your rudders if you have them up pretty high. 15%, that felt solid. I don't want to change it. I think if we encounter an error on this next one, maybe you could tweak it more, but when are you going to be landing in winds greater than 30 knots? Direct crosswinds anyway. I don't know why I didn't just restart. I didn't even think about it. Okay, so let's do this legit this time. First things first, let's load up our airplane. Flix, I would try that. If you're having an issue, pull the curves on your side stick, on your TCA. Pull the curves. It might make a difference. You know, it really might make a difference. So first off, let's set the parking brake. And let's load this up. So let's take a full load of passengers. 6.8 on the cargo. And let's say we're landing with about 8,000 pounds of gas on board. little bit more. That's a 141. So max weight, max landing weight for a 320, 145, 505. So we're below that. We're actually a little bit heavy. Let's do about 140,000 pounds. Perfect. So 5,000 below max. 8.3 on the fuel, full load. I like it. We're going to load instantly. Done. Okay. That is done. Now let's change the weather. Phase 1, you've been tinkering 12 to 15. Okay. At high speed during either takeoff or landing, shouldn't the plane be sliding a little bit on the mains? What do you mean by sliding? I don't... that doesn't sound right. It wouldn't really be sliding. Alright, so winds from... What did we say? What were we doing? 180. Harold Phoenix, thank you for your continued support, man. I'm glad you're finding the information helpful here. Awesome stuff, man. Let's bump this up. We're going to do a steady state crosswind of 38. And we're going to do gusts from the same direction. Maybe, yeah, same direction. Gusts. And gust speeds up to 44 knots. 35 gusts per minute. What does that mean? 18 gusts per minute. Okay. So, and that is that's the ground layer wind, right? So, I'm not going to add 2 because I don't want to double it. Everybody looks good with that? 180 at 3.8, gust 4.5. That's about the METAR. Matter of fact, I think that's exactly what the METAR was showing DFW when I landed. Not that wind direction, but that speed. 38, gust 4.5. So we will do a flaps 3 on this as well. All right, that is set. And let's do a quick flight plan. So we have something in the box. And we're going to departure 10, Juliana 2, sure. The winds are, so it's on top of steady state? No, that wouldn't. Because the METAR is reading correctly. The METAR is reading correctly. And then we'll do the RNAV 10, no star insert. So that is set. And knit B, let's set these weights. We're loaded. Aircraft loaded. 132.3 and 30.4. $83? There's no way it's 83 knots, guys. Look. Unless I'm being crazy. Where was that METAR at? Wind 181 at 3.8, gust 4.5. That's how it should be. 87 knots? Maybe it is. Really? Okay, well then that's a Microsoft thing. So let's change the gust down then. We'll do a gust of 5 knots. There we go. Alright. And let me just add another wind layer to be safe. Zero. They're all the same. Okay. It'll be interesting. Alright, that is set. And we're going up to 2,000 feet. I don't know what the speeds are. Let's just say 131. 131. 83 knots would be an issue for sure. All right, we're all set.
Hundred above minimum.
Shouldn't have set that up. 180 at 3.8. Temperature is 1.5. Altimeter is 29091. All right. Ready to go. Let's do this. Brakes released. Here we go. I mean, I can hear the wind out there. Oh, we still have these things connected. I have abused the Fenix chocks and cones, that is for sure. Alright. Full forward pressure on the stick now because we've got strong crosswind. Let's go. Start working it out. So see, on the ground it's much harder with less curve to control, but in flight it feels better. She wants to fly. That I don't know what those speed. Oh my god. Okay, we're up. We're up. 50 knots. Okay, it's too much. It's too much wind. That's too much wind. That's 50 knots. 60 knots direct crosswind. Look at it. We're just floating. Look at that. Okay, we got to dial the wind down. That's what. We're okay. We're gonna recover. We're gonna recover. We're gonna recover. It's fine. We'll fix it. I'll fix it. Let's bug speed 200. Let's fly a heading. Let's bring her back. Jeez. I mean, that's pretty sweet though. I think we could attest that that would be probably what would happen at a 60 knot direct crosswind. So is it just this wind layer is too bad? Let me delete that one. So if I delete that one, I got 77 knots across. What the hell is going on here? Why is it so high? Maybe it'll just take a minute to settle down. Alright. We're looking good. But not want to be landing here right now. I'm going to descend down to 1,000 feet, though, just to see what the winds are doing at 1,000. Because we got to figure out, we got to make sure we have proper winds at 1,000 feet. It's like our winds are stuck at 77 knots. Wind speed 38 knots. There we go. 181 at 38, gusting 5. That doesn't seem right though. Whatever. Just showing a 75 knot crosswind up here. There we go. There's 41 knots. Now she's kicked in. 182 at 41. Okay, there we go. We're looking good now. We got it. We're at 1,000 feet, 41 knots, so that's about what I wanted. This is like worst case scenario. So we're good. We're 41 knots. We're okay now. All right. What is our activate, confirm? 138 is VAP. We're going to land config 3, which is a 143. Call it 145 for 2 extra knots. I got 2 kids. We're going to do flap config 3 on the overhead. All right. Let's do this. 41 knots. I think it was perfect the way I said it at first, but then you made me change it, Chaos, so blame you, bro. Flaps 2. Alright, let's do this. We're going to turn her in. Flight director's off. We're going to leave at 180 here in the turn because we can stall again. gonna put 41 knots on the tail here. It's gonna be spicy. Oh, there it goes. Birds are up. Flaps 3, which is our landing config. Auto brakes low is set. Spoilers arm, gear down. Here we go. We went way far out. Man. Nice little gust right there. Let's get back up about 1,000 feet or so. We're way out here. I didn't realize we were that far out. 7-mile final. Recording is on. Check. Recording is on. Thank you. Alright, this is the one. Flaps 3. I know it's doable because I've done it. In real life. So, if Microsoft Flight Simulator is as real as it gets, theoretically, we should be able to walk away from this one. $40 knots. I've seen it drop down to 37, so it seems to be doing what I want it to be doing. Flap config 3. Gear is down, 3 green, and ready to go. Yeah, my ear just got plugged up.
1,000.
Alright. 1,000 feet, stable. Here we go. The vertical deviation bricks are all off. Don't worry about it. Still thinks we're on the departure. This is a pretty good sight picture, I'm not going to lie. This is pretty realistic. So 37 knots, about max crosswind limitation, or demonstrated. This is about right. I've seen the runway out this far on the windscreen before. This is, so far we're looking pretty realistic here. There's a gust. The palms are actually getting sweaty. See how fluctuating the auto thrust is? I actually don't prefer that. See now it's going to juice
40,
me here.
30, 20, retard, 5.
Ooh, see, whoa! And we're back. We're back to the rudder authority. No! No, everything was looking so good. So when I reduce my curves, wow, when I reduce my curves on the rudder at touchdown, I still get wonky. Everything was perfect. Everything was perfect until the nose came down. Dang. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at that one. Straight to the gate. So what happened? Everything is fine. got center line control, and then the nose hit, and dang, that's crazy. I don't know. The results are inconclusive because the last landing we did, it felt great, but don't know. Like, this felt great. I needed a little bit more right wing down. See how it blew me over a little bit, but we still got her down. Actually, I'm actually pretty proud of that. That's actually a pretty dang good touchdown for 30 knots of wind, the crosswind here. So right there, I mean, just maybe a degree of side load, but not much at all. And the nose got the good nose control. That was the problem before. Nose control is down, and then as soon as it hits the ground, see how it was driving me over to the right? And I don't know if that's the auto brakes. There shouldn't be any anti-skid going on there, but yeah, as soon as the nose touched down, I got whacked from the right side again. Migs! Thank you for the $13 dono, man. Appreciate you. Fly-by-wire comparison landing. I don't have the latest update on it. I mean, we could try it. Before I didn't have control when the rudders touched, when the rears touched. Correct, phase 1. So before, when the mains touched, before this update, when the mains touched, I couldn't control the nose of the aircraft. Now I can. Now I've got phenomenal control of the nose with the mains on the ground. But when the nose hits, it's all bets are off. So look, touchdown, good nose control, perfect nose control. I set her down, and then it's like, wah. I'm like, no, left rudder, left rudder, left rudder. And then it's like, no, nope, you're not getting left rudder. And it's like, no, yes I am. So, yeah, Chaos, I don't have, or Migs, I would do it, man. Thanks for your dono, but I don't have the latest. I don't have the latest update, and I would need it for this, so I'd have to update that. I should have left the. Do the flight controls work in replay here? No, none of the flight control.
40, 30, 20, retard.
Not really.
5.
Let's see, touchdown. I mean, that felt good. It's like, no. I mean, I was full left rudder here. You can't. The rudder's not moving in replay mode for some reason, and it just kicked me off. Oh well. That's gonna wrap it up, though. I still think so. At the end of the day, I still think this was it's a good improvement on the update, and we landed perfectly with 20 knots. So, I mean, it's definitely more controllable. The rudders, I'm going to continue to mess with my rudder curves. I think 15% is still a little aggressive. Maybe it has something to do with nose wheel steering bleeding through. I don't know. I'm going to have to ban nose wheel steering in chat because I get so tired about hearing about the nose wheel steering button. It has nothing to do with landing the airplane. At least it shouldn't. And if it does, then it's a bug. It doesn't matter. But, yeah, I don't know.
50,
I might take some juice off. Migs, but I'm probably going to continue to play with this a little bit off stream.
20,
See what I can figure out. But overall, it does feel much better. Like, the flares feel good. Definitely get rid of the curves on your side stick because that really made a big difference. So getting rid of the curves on the side stick is huge. And, yeah, I'm just going to continue to tinker with it. I'll let you guys know what I find. But, anyways, been what, 3 hours plus now? I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. had a lot of fun. I enjoy the updates. I enjoy the sounds. We will be back in the Phoenix in a pretty short while. So hopefully this week we'll be back flying the airplane. I hope you guys enjoy this. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. I got to go catch some fish for my buddy. So we'll see you guys later this week. I'm V1. See ya!